What did I dream of?
Oh, hello!
Sometimes,
Welcome, welcome, adventurers and friends. And hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We are live. Hello. Cool. Tonight we will continue our adventures in Abilon. Oh
wait, no, that's sorry. That's licensed. I apologize.
I think you can sing things.
Wrong
with that.
No.
Oh, that's okay.
Rice can.
That's right. There's a.
Rice can.
It's in the agreement in terms. You read the fine print. That's a lot of dice. Jimmy.
Scary.
I'm glad we didn't clock heads in.
Hey, baby, do you have a note card? Excuse me, dungeon manager.
Maybe dungeon manager.
You gotta fill out a request form.
There you go. There's
Gotta wait for it to catch up.
little baby dungeon.
Maybe Andy's not on the screen.
Just say Mr. We just say
It's
manager.
delay. Oh, there he is.
All right.
Andy's here.
So
Found him.
Andy,
Which
Can
camera
see
do I look at?
Okay,
which one
Raimi.
you want?
This
Raimi
one's
wants to
on
be
you.
my footrest. She's like, push yourself under my legs.
Yeah, that would be your camera.
That'll be your camera.
I could also just give you this one.
Oh God, stop it.
This close
Andy
up
cam.
And Cam.
Stare into his eyes.
Not for too long.
Put you on the
Lady.
You'll be
Your
bedazzled.
own. Oh, that's ridiculous. All right, no, not.
Okay.
No. Well, maybe we'll have an Andy reaction cam. I don't know. Okay. Well, that was a good session. So we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Thank you again. Sorry about using your microwave.
All right. So last session was one of those first sessions where lots of things kind of just happen, and it's just like,
Dinner's done.
Quiet on the set, please.
yeah, will everyone turn off their dryers?
Whose dryer was
sorry,
that?
put your dryers on
and
silent.
washers.
Whose dryer was
My
that?
dryer.
Really?
Listen, it's not a
Really,
big deal.
people?
Just whose dryer was it?
Yeah. So I'm going to give us like the last time on last time. We found
That's your character.
ourselves in a land of unusual mystery and fantasy, and there was a festival happening. And long story short, the town exploded, and you guys
How to tell through teeth.
kind of been thrust on your mission. During this festival, where the preacher, this presidential style wizard figure, came to town to collect votes, there was an invasion of these fleshy creatures, these horrible, mangled versions of life. Not undead, something that you've never seen before. Certainly, within the context of this game. I'm gonna have to fire whoever brought that.
That was it. That was the last straw. Daniel, you can go home
This is the
now.
last time we went in this terrible space. Yeah. Okay, so the dryer went off. What else happened last time?
Flesh bags.
Yeah. So let's just go around the table. We're gonna talk about. We'll reintroduce characters, and we will quickly say your character. Do a quick description of what you look like. Maybe 2 sentences, and then something cool that you did last time. Something fun that you did that was fun, or a fun thing about last session that you remember. And we'll start with Bryce. We'll put him on the spot first. What's your character's name?
The character's name is Yaka.
Yaka. Very Klingon.
Yeah.
I imagine. In this setting, the orcs are Klingons. That's a good way, but they're a little less. They're a little less angry. They're a little more.
Shakespearean.
Yeah, why not?
Sure. If you've seen the 6th Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No.
Sorry.
No one here has
No.
seen
That was across the
The
wrong
only
board.
one I've seen.
That's the only Star Trek I've ever watched. Yaka, you're a blind orc, veteran mercenary, right? You're like ex-soldier.
Yeah, just a lifelong soldier, a
Yeah.
career soldier. Lost my eyesight in battle, where I also lost my platoon. I felt disgraced. Lived on the street. I've known him way too long. Anyway, he's tall, 6'2". He's got white hair that's spiked back. He wears kind of like. Do we have armor yet? I don't think we got any armor, did we? Because you said we started without it.
You will start this session with all the gear that you're supposed to have.
Okay.
In the time between last session and this session, about a night, a night's sleep and some things have happened. So
Cool.
you'll have all your gear.
Cool. He wears a half plate and kind of like his subclass will be samurai. So he carries this Damascus sword. It's like this kind of a katana style sword, and he wears half plate that's got kind of like a slotted ridges on one shoulder.
For ventilation.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what it's there for.
Breathable.
So it's so comfortable.
Yeah, and yeah, and last week. I really didn't get a chance to do anything, and it's not like I didn't do anything cool. It's just things didn't work out well. My character just had a bad.
No, there was a lot of this like.
I didn't do anything cool.
My traveling companion died, and I was never close to a monster.
was
Like
a
there
bad
was like
day.
there's a monster over there, and I was like I'm gonna run over there, and then there's a monster. I got it. It's just like trying to save people, but it just didn't work. Also, like I was newly not blind.
That's true.
Now I have a blind sight, and
That's
a
fine.
creature
I think it's appropriate
says
that your character wasn't
a little discombobulated.
disoriented.
You're like that guy
Like-
in 60 Minutes.
Well, he went from being this blind old, retired mercenary to a level 1 fighter who now has feels capable again, like remembers like his purpose and that he is a fighter and he's a
Nice.
protector. He can see all of you. That's how it changed, and you are all like a flaming blue in his blind sight because we're all touched. So it's cool.
Very
Sweet.
first time.
Jordy.
Awesome. Have
Just
a
like Jordy.
delicious hero point.
Delicious.
What's happening with my
Brought to you by
Tastes like
Ted.
cheese.
casting?
More hero. Heroes
Gratis.
probably taste like chicken. Pork.
It's a really tasty hero point.
You can have up to 5.
That's what, I think that's right. We can have up to 5 hero points in this game.
Yes, you can have up to 5.
Oh.
2 now.
Wow.
But I didn't play.
Dope,
So
dope,
it's
dope.
fine.
Dream big. It'll be fine.
All right. Opal, go ahead and describe your character.
Well, I was gonna say my cool thing first
Okay.
because
Sure.
the cool thing I was gonna talk about was fucking being born
Yeah.
because
You know.
You
said
Pretty
didn't
cool
exist
thing.
before then, so
Miracle.
that's pretty
And
alright.
she sat here for like 2.5 hours, not doing anything, just chilling,
Waiting to be born.
waiting to get to play.
It wasn't time yet. It wasn't my time.
Yeah.
Were you in an egg?
Yes, she was in a.
Like a earthy egg, right?
It was a gemstone. It was
Yeah.
like this large,
Like a
like,
geode?
Rock thing.
like a geode that was actually like a chrysalis. So
Ooh, chrysalis.
she was
Chrysalis.
gestating inside of it, and
Ooh.
This is what I look like.
Oh, so that's what we were looking at.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you draw that?
Yes.
That is.
I'm a gemstone, dragon,
Yes.
sorceress.
Wow. Technology.
But
Man,
I love
Yeah.
that.
May I lick
I
it?
appreciate
You can
Yeah,
use 2
look-
fingers to zoom. Otherwise, you'll
Oh.
draw on it.
I know how to zoom. oh,
Oh, you
shit, I just
drew
drew
on
on
it.
it.
Wow.
Oh.
You're so good at zooming. Oh my god, I just fucked it up.
Sure, I did
Zoom.
zoom. So
Yeah. Suck it! No.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
cool. So yeah, you when you were born, everything changed. There was an explosion, and everyone
To draw again.
Nope.
was a ripple of energy washed through you all, and you all now have a mark on your body that maybe looked at first like a laceration or like a scar, but it glows with a soft, almost otherworldly. I don't know the color. I don't really care what the color is. That can be whatever you want. It can look any way you want. It can look
Alien
different.
green.
It can look different for each of you. Is another thing.
Cool
But what it represents is that the barrier of reality that separates Abilon and Arcadia, the place where magic comes from, is weakened where you guys exist, and because of that, that's where your powers come from. So everybody has this wellspring of powers because you're like little conduits that are soaking up magic from another reality. So that can look any way you want it to. It can be real, like ornate and big, or you can have it be like a little thing. Yours is slightly different because you weren't there. We said that your character actually got sick a while back,
Yeah.
and you were sent. You were sent up to. They thought you were going to die. You were sent to Bastion. You were sent to the main city, where the Magi performed rituals that helped save your life, and they're the cause of your barbarian like swing. So you're kind of like a magic experiment gone right, gone wrong kind of thing, and you have been training to become a Magi.
Yeah.
So because of you getting to stay up there, your brother who wanted to be one wouldn't be able to leave now, and your father kind of resents you for doing that. But I don't know. I feel like that whole experience might have changed your character, because I think we're talking about you being kind of like a timid little guy, but I feel like you've had a lot of hardship.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a
That
little
was
more...
level 1, Wendell.
Yeah.
Now he's well, I haven't leveled up. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, that'll give me a reason to go
Cool.
to.
Opal, anything else about your character?
Nah,
cool.
I mean, just.
And then you got those magic powers, magic superpowers. All right, have a hero point.
You're a what is
A
your
gemstone dragon. It's a new
that's
race.
your race?
She's a
By
gemstone dragonborn.
Matt Koval?
Matt Koval's, stronghold and followers.
And your class is
Sorcerer.
sorcerer.
Draconic
That makes
order
sense.
and sorcerers.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
yeah. And I got some special gemstone dragony things I can do that are like psionic.
Yeah, she has
powers.
psionic abilities. Gemstone dragons have all these psionic abilities.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. So, you're this like new creature that no one's ever seen before. This new type of thing, and even Xanatos, this great the Magi, the great Magus, that he's this supposed to be this worldly learned person, didn't know what it was, and but knew it was precious and important to protect. And just like things like this rarely happen on top of each other out of coincidence.
If we go outside the session, my thing that I'm going to hoard as a dragon will be revealed, but only if we go outside.
Awesome.
Just
How big are you?
It's actually
She's
small.
not very
4
big.
foot 7 inches.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
You're just a little bitty. You're like a little kid.
Just
I'll get bigger
brand
though,
new,
and I'll get
newborn.
more gemstones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a little baby dragon.
Just a little baby.
for now.
And as
For
she
today.
grows older, she'll become more gemstone-y-ish and less dragony as she gets
Gemstone.
gemstonery.
Gemstoned.
Gemstone.
Hemstone.
All right, Tara, your character Winifred.
Yes.
Are you a Winnie or a Freddy?
I'm a Winnie.
She's a winner.
I'm playing an NPC character named Winifred. Winnie Wickham.
Oh, you're
as you may
Alexis
call
Liddell.
me. I'm Alexis
Yeah.
Liddell. And I am
Sorry.
Xanatos' Magus apprentice.
Yeah.
And I'm just
She's his
trying to corral you all,
right-hand
sort
man.
of, and yeah,
And her,
stuck with you
her
adventurers.
job is to babysit you guys. So
Apparently.
apparently, she's super happy about it. I'll give you a hero point
Thrilled.
to use this
I
session.
get those two?
You can have it.
Cool.
You can hold on.
Just for now.
An
Just hold
NPC.
on to that.
All right. Philippa? How am I saying that?
Philippa.
Philippa. Okay. Saying it correctly. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Philippa. No kin. Go ahead and describe your character.
I am a very pointy humanoid.
Pointy?
Pointy. I have pointy features.
Okay.
Who knows why?
Okay.
Like elf.
Pointy
like?
nose.
If we knew what elves were, they might be described as elf-like.
Half of elf.
Yeah, like half of one.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Half
Yeah.
described.
I think I know what you mean.
You know what
I think I
elves
get
are,
that.
but elves are more like in books and all the literature of like the world. It would be kind of
Ah.
perceived as like being more of like a story. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
like you know, these
Like
tomes are these
stories.
tomes, you know, like the way people look at religious tomes in the modern times. It's like these are maybe allegories. These elves, maybe they existed, maybe they didn't. It doesn't matter.
Easy.
That's you.
Mhm.
Nice.
But
Unbelievable.
I don't know. I feel like you would have a strong sense, at least now, as a character, that you know what you are.
Yeah, that's true. Now that the change has happened,
Mm-hmm.
I have always been a a huntress of sorts, and now I'm finding all these druid powers coming awake within me. I'm like, hey, I might be half elf.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I have been a servant of the household to these two guys. I'm a little bit older than them. Take care of them.
How kind are you?
I know. I'm a very kind
I know.
person.
And humble too.
And cool thing that happened last time. I've just been getting all these really cool powers. I talked to a zebra at one point,
Oh yeah.
You did.
and I also made fire
Other
happen.
animals that's
You
running
did.
around the kingdom
Yeah.
right now.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
So it was
Remember
a
that.
it's a really interesting day for me.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Have a hero point.
Point,
Point.
point, point.
Point. Point.
Wah.
All right. Kindle, correct?
Kendall Weston, first son of the House of Weston. I was destined to train to become a magus until my brother Wendell got sick. And then I was forced to stay home and take the lessons instead of going off to do bigger and better things. And I've been dreaming about that bigger world out there. Let's see, last session my home was destroyed. Completely. Everything I know and love, probably gone. But I worked very hard to save some people. I found my noble horse, who I will call Ladybird. And let's see.
Noble
and
steed.
eventually
It's funny since my
we got the evacuees or the refugees, one of the two, to a temple that Philippa and I had discovered after running by some owl bears and all sorts of other excitement.
Yeah, it's a keep out in the Old Wood. It's called the Old Wood Keep, and it has a temple attached to like the back of it. So it has this one of these ancient holy spaces that no one really knows who the gods they belong to are anymore, and then the keep itself. Yeah. And what did you find? What did you find
Whoa,
under that
Ladybird.
keep?
Oh, we found a dragon.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. We ended on the
Found
edge of a
dragon.
cliff.
I forgot about the dragon.
What kind of
Don't
dragon?
forget about a dragon.
I don't
It was
remember.
perhaps eldest, which is this other
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool last
It was-
time.
It is
Big deal,
perhaps
a sapphire dragon. It's a gemstone dragon named Eldest, the eldest,
Elvis.
and he's sleeping, but he's humongous. So it's kind of like they fell into a cave that was underneath the keep, and like one of the back chambers of there, and they all slid down
Whoa.
into this old dungeon that has been collapsed in, and inside this is this head of this dragon that has the gemstone dragons have different like configurations of eyes. So I like the eldest. There's art in this book that's awesome. It's like 6 eyes all together. They look a little more like alien as opposed to like dragony, because they're mostly subterranean, and they don't most of them don't grow wings because they don't fly.
They don't need
They're on the ground. Like the sapphire dragons would have basically long tentacles that they could use instead of these like wingage appendages. Really cool. But this thing is like he's in the ground, so it's more like I imagine this space. If you guys stand here, and it feels very much like a Jim Henson movie. It's lots of backlighting, green and blue, and sapphire backlighting, and then this big head that's the wall that's clearly this big animatronic. Like, you know what I mean? Like I imagine this
Wizard of
humongous
Oz
like
thing.
thing. Yeah. But it sleeps, and as of right now, so do you guys. And last we ended the you guys had found this keep, found the dragon, and before you were to go to sleep at the end of the night, when you guys were kind of holding out with a huddled bit of people there, late in the night, Xanatos arrived with a bit of a cavalry, a group of magi that were traveling along with him, kind of in secret, and they kind of help you guys. They kind of take over. You guys are feeling very like heroic, but the truth is that you're just a bunch of kids, and some adults come in and they kind of make a camp. So as you go to sleep, they're kind of helping you guys get comfortable and kind of taking some of that authority away that you feel like you've gained over the last the last day, and that might rub you a little. I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's a feeling that you haven't felt. Why it's significant is that because of the magics at work here, you've never felt this feeling before. So it's the first time you've felt an itch that like, well, I don't know. What do they know? Maybe I'm right. You know what I mean? So when you guys wake up the next morning. You're kind of sitting around a campfire. It's a super foggy day, like it was today. I love that. So we'll use that aesthetic.
The
Super,
crows were talking to one another.
super foggy. The crows were? Yeah. They're just yelling.
Scheming.
Oh. Planning a murder, no doubt.
Yeah.
Hey! I'm
Take your phone from me.
Check my phone?
Yeah. Just whenever.
Thank you.
Oh.
Just letting you know that
Yeah.
that I messaged you.
Oh, I like that. You should send me secret messages more often. Scheming.
Ew.
They're dirty pictures.
You can trust me. Dirty pictures, yeah.
Are you looking at me?
I just wanted you to know. Shh. No one else is supposed to hear that. That was only for Andy to know.
As you wake, they're already passing out some rations, and Xanatos is
go to Andy Cam.
already kind of collected you one by one and has kind of grouped you together and is basically saying, like, first of all, I've hidden the dragon. When you guys go to inspect the spot where the floor caved in, it seems to have been miraculously repaired. I don't know if anyone, maybe Opal would be inclined to, if anyone tries to interact with the area, once you walk into the space, it's just like an optical illusion effect where there's actually a tunnel there. It's just there's an illusion spell that's been cast over it to make it look at a certain angle as if there is nothing in that space, or rather that the floor exists there. So if you get close enough, you don't have to make a perception check. You can just walk up to it. That's how a lot of like this magic works. Is that it seems like it does the effect as intended. It just has severe limitations to it. And he's like, I've hidden the dragon. He's like, we just need to. He's like, we need to not talk about that. He also, Opal, he hands you a pocket watch.
Okay.
The pocket watch is it ticks, but as you open it, it doesn't have working mechanisms. It just makes a noise. And this pocket watch will allow you to cast Alter Self on yourself once a day. You can cast it. It will last as long as you want it to, and then once you're done with it, you dispel it. You can't use it again until the next dawn. So it is already set to cast one, and only cast one image. It casts an image of a young girl. I assume Opal is kind of if you want a gender your dragon.
We decided they weren't gendered.
Yeah, but if we're gonna make her humanoid, what would you prefer? You just want to make her super androgynous?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Embrace that all the
Yeah,
way.
awesome. So
It doesn't
yeah.
matter what's in my pants. You
Yeah.
don't need to know.
You're not even wearing pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll fucking fuck you up with a chaos bolt.
So it makes you look like
Don't
a
ask
young.
questions.
Whoa, dude!
But kind of makes you in the parlance of the times. It makes you look like a young lad, maybe like 13. You got like moppish hair that is kind of like big, and you look kind of like a peasant. Gives you like simple peasant clothes, and that's the only way it can look. You can't change
Okay.
the thing. So it allows you to, and he gives it to you, and it changes, and he says, "Best you wear this while surrounded by these common people. They could be afraid of things that are strange and unusual." He says, "Your safety is of the utmost import," and he kind of like looks around at the rest of you, and he. Kind of like, as he's saying that, kind of looks up, and he says, "You said you encountered something last night?" Looking over at you guys. Not you, because you're not here.
Yeah, it was definitely an owl bear.
And he says, "Oh, wonderful. Winifred," he's like, "I want you to go check at the edge of the camp, and check with Captain, we'll call him Captain Dark Traveler."
Dark Traveler,
I'm
yes.
just gonna start crossing off all the names I've used until we've used everyone's name. Says, "See if the sentries have seen anything. and I'll give you guys a bit of a space here. He says, go ahead and get yourselves packed. You know, we can't stay here. He says, we'll leave behind some men to protect the dragon, but we've got to get going back to the town. He says, I have to hear back from my people. We have to like. There are things in that town that are terrifying, so we can't stay too close to it. So he's gonna go off and like tell people to do stuff, so you guys can have a little bit of a space to interact with each other. Maybe make your own plans. Maybe.
Where can I find you?
Well, he'll be up.
After I
He'll be up in his quarters, but you know that once you.
Should I come back here after I
Yeah,
get
you'll
that
come back
message?
here. Yeah.
Okay.
That will all happen off screen. I already know all the things that person knows.
Winifred was trying to ask him
Yeah,
that.
that's
That's
fair.
all.
No, you'll come back and you'll grab them basically after you're done, and that will be the end of their little. So
Kindle would like to look for Lisa Copperwind, who is a knight of his house who was in the camp before. And basically he's looking for signs of his father.
Okay. And you find her. She's down with a few bannermen, and they're like getting themselves ready. She's lamenting to them about all the sick and the injured. She says there are far too many of them to be transported in a day, and she's afraid that that when you hear her as you're walking up, you hear her saying, if Redmond gets here and we don't have a plan, he's just going to insist that we leave these people. And then she sees you and she's like, "Oh, my lord." She's a little like, "Oops."
We can't leave these people, no matter what.
She says, "I agree." She says,
Are there any wagons around that maybe we could carry them in?
She says, "Unfortunately, everything was too heavy to be pulled through the woods or was destroyed along the way. We had to leave most of it as the underbrush got too thick."
What's around in this camp?
A very like basic of stuff, but some stuff. So I don't know. What are you looking for?
Just seeing like I'm supposed. I'd like to make a rudimentary travois. Actually, I'm looking for the number of horses around,
Okay.
and then try to come up with shift sledges and things to drag people on.
I got you. There are about 6 horses, and there are maybe 15, 20 wounded. Maybe like we'll say sick and wounded. People who were already sick, and then people who got wounded.
Okay.
Like during. Those were the main people that you guys helped protect and get out of town. The most like vulnerable.
Okay.
Is there a plan with getting out of town? Like, aren't these things just going to follow, or is that not your impression?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, and that's a good thing. I think I feel like your character would bring that up probably in world, and is more of like a foreshadowing question, like where are the things? You know what I mean? But no one has an answer to that at the moment.
We need to keep moving for sure, Philippa, and I think we should
Like
head for the Rook,
indefinitely? Okay.
which
What's
is
that?
the large castle-y thing that exists.
Yeah,
somewhere.
there's a forgotten tower that exists on the border of the land to the north.
But we're like forgotten in the sense that we don't know about it, or forgotten in the sense that like it's not used currently.
Forgotten in the sense that that it is not used currently, and people just don't wonder about things that aren't on the path. That is just how, since the Pact, humans have just been a more subdued race
Cool.
of people.
So having left the path and all of that business and seen this tower when we had that weird unveiled thing, I think we should head that way.
For the purpose of getting there and fortifying it? Like,
That's at
to
least
make a
the next
stronghold
step.
there? Okay.
Winifred is you're going to return right now, running. She's like, basically grab your weapons, owlbears. They're
Owlbears.
They're coming into the castle, the keep that you guys are, or the keep that you're in right now. The camp you built in is around. It's just a 4-sided, smallish little keep, but one of the walls is almost completely missing. So you got most of your camp up against walls. And basically everyone who is part of the the Knights Guard there is going to try to get all the able-bodied people up and out of the way, but Winifred, when you return, remember how big that owlbear was?
Yeah.
Well, in the light of day, she kind of explains that that it looked big because a full-grown owlbear has wings, and so as you guys look up into the sky, you see this silhouette of this owlbear, just like flying, and then you know that there are 4 owlbear cubs that are about the size of bulls.
One flying and 4 cubs.
Yeah, they're like medium sized. They're just short of large creatures. And they're going to be here in probably just a few minutes. So you guys have a few minutes to prepare.
We don't have much time.
You saw
Get
them?
ready. Yes.
And they looked like attacking.
Well,
Yeah, they're coming.
You
They're
didn't
coming
see
fast.
You didn't see them specifically, but
I didn't see them specifically.
the rangers that were out scouting came back. They're the ones you were supposed to meet with, and they were like, "Hey,
Oh,
we,
right.
we saw these out here. They followed all the people. There are all these traps."
The rangers told us to
Yeah.
beware. Owlbears are on the way.
Mhm.
I guess I just don't know much about owl bears because I was wondering if this is like
Interesting.
bears are
Large.
coming.
Roll a nature or survival. What do you have over there, druid person, druid ranger?
Scary.
I don't understand your question.
What skills
She's
are
good
you
at nature.
Yes, I am good.
Yeah, do nature.
Point at it. Thank you. I have 16.
You've never seen these creatures, so it's fair that you wouldn't know much about them. But you get a sense. You got a sense from the creature last night when you were interacting with it that the relationship is more that you will have. It will be more of like a predatory prey nature. These are not intelligent creatures necessarily. Yeah. They're primal, kind of beastie type of creatures.
They're beasts.
Beasts.
That's what they are.
And
they're going to eat us.
And the one thing you would notice is that they've taken up like this whole area, this like whole acre is their entire den. So because they are these like grow to be these flying creatures, they don't just like live in like one cave. They live all over the place. So you guys are in their territory right now. So it's less of like the evil owlbears are out to get you, more like you
That
guys-
was the question.
Yeah,
Okay.
you stumbled into their.
And so we need to get these people out of here.
Okay.
Right, but we
Right.
can't do it right away.
Right. So we need to distract giant owlbear.
I think maybe a bonfire would be good. That seemed to work.
Yeah, do it.
I got some
Um,
dancing lights too.
Philippa?
Oh, dancing lights.
We need whatever happens. I think we should draw it to us.
Right.
So
And
Xanatos returns
Oh, he's
and
here.
he's like hearing your plans. It's not like he just like didn't. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a part of the conversation now too. And he's basically going to say that he'll form a front line with the knight errants that are up there and like make a barrier. And you guys need to stay behind. He doesn't want you to
an owl barrier.
Owl barrier. Yeah. He doesn't want you to be a part of this. You guys are kids. You don't need. He's basically go hide with the sick and the children.
You don't want any part of this, do we?
Go ahead.
Since from Dragon Head, like this is a big evil thing. This is a big dragon head. What's our reaction to there being a dragon down there?
The dragons would be like, I don't know. It would be like a magical, fabled thing. The dragon only represents like hope and in the lore of the land, the dragons were like the first creatures.
Okay.
So they would be considered guardians and protectors. They're supposed to all be dead, and that's why all the gods are gone. That's why all the magic's gone, or so folklore says. So
Cool. So with
it would
him,
probably make you feel very special,
Yeah.
personally.
always. But with him saying that, I'm specifically going to start moving some of the wounded towards the women and the children, which I'm going to usher towards that strange Wile E. Coyote illusion.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, that's a good plan. You can get them all down into that space.
Yep.
Xanatos doesn't like it, and at first he tries to stop you, but the owlbears are already, the mother one is already starting to swoop in, and not near you guys, up towards the front of the camp, and he basically he looks at you and is just like, shake my fist, and he has to go off to deal with the cubs as they come in, and you guys can see the cubs have made the front line, and they're knocking these knights off horses. They're just hitting them like a ton of bricks. It's
Oh,
not.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
The beasts.
I'm gonna assist you in getting the people to safety.
Cool. Are the Weston Knights and Bannermen helping the front line?
Yeah, they're
It's all hands on deck.
all hands on deck. Anyone who's able-bodied has got a weapon if they have one, or at least like a dangerous farming tool. But most of the people who aren't fighters are helping you guys get the sick and kind of like, rearrange. Okay, so you guys have plenty of time to get most of those people in there. Go ahead and roll me a.
Getting people to say.
Roll me a persuasion, because I feel like it's more of like you kind of trying to rally people.
All right. 22.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you do that, and they're like, "We hear you, boss," and everybody blah blah blah. They'll run downstairs, and as that happens, you look back, and the front line has been completely demolished. Ooh, crap.
Crap.
There were about
That's funny.
12 knights, like proper knights, 8 of them have been just mauled.
Oh my god.
These owlbears have razor sharp claws that just like talons that peel right through their.
Have they done any damage to them?
Yeah, there's like lances and like javelins sticking in and out of them. They're not like, they definitely have done some damage to them. One of them, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna say they killed one. So there's only like 3 of these owlbears that are still like ripping through. But the mother is now coming through and she's grabbing. Everyone, make me a dex save, kind of as you're all like running across the court, multiple passes from her. We'll just go around the table one at a time.
You don't have to keep it.
We'll save because she's
I
not
say,
in the room right
if it's not on the tray, it is not okay.
18.
now. So yeah, you're able to just like sense
Dex
a
save.
shift in the wind before it happens,
Yeah.
and you're pretty much just like out of there.
Yeah.
No problem.
Rainy,
Not a
no.
lot of like jumping around or anything. Oh, we'll make me a dex save.
15.
But once again, this thing jumps down. It sees you, but you're small, and as it comes towards the group, it just decides to veer towards someone else.
I'm really sorry. Is it an owlbear?
It's that
Okay.
owlbear. It's the mother. Winnie, you don't have to make a save. What did you roll? Over there, smiles.
I was just so fascinated by these owlbears. I rolled 7.
Oh, maybe you're terrified.
The owlbear,
Don't know what to do.
the mother owlbear grabs you and
Okay.
Oh my god.
picks you up off the ground.
All right.
What did you?
Philippa!
Could she use her legendary resistance to succeed on that save?
She could, yeah.
Don't do it. Just go with it.
Just let it fly. We'll
Just go
save
with it.
you.
Wait,
You can
Real
save
bad.
yourself,
Yeah,
actually.
'cause you're
Who
on
am
the
I?
woman.
Yeah. I'm a hard
Fuck.
woman in this
There must be
fantasy.
something else I was thinking of. Yeah, let's ride this out. Let's see what
Alright,
happens.
there you go.
Play the game.
Tell you what,
Why
have a hero point for it. All right, yeah. So it just like pulls you up. What did you roll?
15.
15? Yeah, so basically, it dives for the group of you, and everyone's fine except for,
No, Philippa.
who gets grabbed and pulled up into the sky. As you get pulled up into the sky, I'm going to go ahead. Do you want to go ahead and do anything up there kind of epic to save yourself? Do you have any moves?
Whoa.
I was thinking that I would Thunderwave.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's centered on self.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's 5 feet around.
Nice.
Say
Now I
15
want to
foot
like
cube.
design my own
Oh.
spell cards.
Yeah, that's thunderclap I'm thinking about.
Failed save,
On
2d8
self,
thunder
50 cube.
damage.
Well, I'm going to say it auto hits
like
because
very
it's grabbing you.
Yeah.
Do you like the Pinterest
Just to
slide?
throw.
Okay, so
Just gonna say
two
like a real
D8.
what was that?
Mm-hmm.
Done.
A real basic bitch one.
Woo!
Damn girl.
2 8s?
Yeah.
2 8s?
Nice.
Philippa saving her own life.
Cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
There's an audible boom of 300 feet.
Hell yeah.
Boom boom.
Wow.
Cacao.
And when you do that, the camera's gonna pan out a good
Someone catch me.
150 feet, and we'll see a caravan of riders on horseback. Redmond, Weston, and in tow his son
Disappointing.
Wendell Weston.
Windle.
You guys hear the boom of the thunder wave, and you're like, It's probably that way, Dad.
Let's go over there, Dad.
All right,
Nailed
have a
it.
hero point. All right, and we cut back.
Yes!
And you, the owlbear takes the damage. How much damage was it?
16.
Yeah.
16. Awesome. And then
And it was
it
pushed back 10 feet into the air.
it drops you with one hand and then tries to catch you with its other talon. Ooh.
Can
you
it
wanna
do
be
that
ca-
if it's being pushed back?
Well, in this case, you're being pushed down.
Okay. Well, I just ask.
Yeah. So because of the way I'm gonna say physics work, right in this
Cool.
scenario, yeah, you're actually being pushed away. You're both being pushed away from each other.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what actually forced it. It didn't get a save. I would normally give it a strength check to see if it grabbed you, but since you cast that spell, I'm saying that it just launched you out of its hand. It's going to try to grab you with this other talon. You can either let it and it will catch you, or you can try to make a save to not be caught by it if you want to be free.
Well, I want to be free.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make a dex save. Make it with advantage because you just thunder wave down.
Oh, nice. 8.
Oh damn.
You did it.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, it got you.
Yeah.
It catches you again.
Can I take a shot at it?
Sick.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Yeah, I pull out my arrow.
We'll just popcorn this fight. So.
I'm gonna use a hero point. There we go. That's right on my bum, but it's
You'll have to make it with a disadvantage because it's out of your range of sight because you can't see things.
well,
One more hero point.
nah, that's okay. I miss. I'm pretty sure.
Not
I
worth
was
What is it?
it is 10.
Oh, that took one of
Those are
my
big.
spell slots.
She's being so
Um,
stupid.
Yeah, you miss it, but just barely.
I'm gonna walk up behind.
It's pretty impressive considering that you're blind. So.
I'm gonna walk up behind and say, "Let me try," and then I'm going to chaos bolt it.
Nice. What's the range of chaos bolt?
We'll Google real quick.
I got you.
Sorry.
I think it's 120.
I think it
I
is
think it is,
120 as well.
It's a long way. Oh yeah, it's 120 feet. You're good. Do it.
More spell slots.
17.
Yeah, you did it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Point,
you
point,
hit
point.
it. You hit it good, girl.
As she hits it, go ahead and make a dexterity save to try to wiggle away from it.
I don't wiggle so well. I got a 6.
Real bad at wiggling.
Yeah.
Go wiggle.
Not an expert wiggler.
I got it right here.
Whatever 2 is the type of damage.
It's cold.
Cold, so it's cold damage,
Uh,
and then it's 15 cold damage.
Nice. Cool. All right, yeah, you hit it, and yeah, she said it still has her, and it's starting to fly up into the air.
How high is it?
It didn't drop her?
Damn.
No, it did not drop her. It
I don't know if I wanted to
is
drop me at this point.
about 100 feet up on its turn. It will try to go another 100 feet. It's trying to go up,
That's
trying
real
to,
high.
trying to gain some altitude. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything that I can do to 100 foot up thing.
You're not who I thought you were
So I
right
will
now.
mount Ladybird and be prepared
You're
for something.
fantastic
And as you do,
heroes.
we're going to count this as initiative count 20.
I'm not a fighter.
You feel something inside of you, Kindle. Something like akin to what you felt before. That sense of
Good.
belonging and of I don't know righteousness. I like righteousness. Righteous.
And it is
Righteous.
righteous.
a pizza.
Pizza. No. Wise men say never pay full price for late pizza.
I'm so pleased.
I don't agree with that, actually. That's kind of rude.
You
You just said.
You feel, as you're mounting the horse, for a second, almost lightheaded, and then you have a sense of, as if you can feel or see all of the land that surrounds this fortress, this 24 acres of land. You feel a connection to it. And you feel wherever that the fate struck mark is, it burns. But it doesn't cause you any physical pain. It's more like a sensory burn. Like you can feel the connection to the magic kind of calling, like pulling it out of you. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Bonus action.
Until the end of your next turn, all of your allies' attacks will hit automatically. So go ahead and give me a rallying cry as like the lord of this stronghold.
Let's hear it, Lord.
Excelsior!
Yes. And
Excited by that.
all of your attacks until the start of his next turn auto hit. And as that happens, he says that, and everyone time kind of slows down, and then from the other side of the line, where these owlbears are pulling up, the cavalry arrives. Redmond with his lance, and then you. What's your weapon of choice when you're not ranging around?
War axe.
Just a war axe.
Two-handed.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure, cool.
Just
Yeah, you
a
see your
war
brother
axe.
coming in. You see your little Pringle's the wrong word. That's a can of chips.
Delicious.
Yeah.
I was gonna say spindly.
I get it.
Yeah, Pringly.
Like little.
Your
My
little
little Pringle.
bookworm brother is coming in.
Yeah.
Two-handed axe. You guys haven't seen each other probably in almost 2 years.
Yeah, since I
Um,
puked on you.
Why is
traveling-
that?
Traveling is not something that happens a lot, and you guys have been both entrenched in your studies, on the cusp of becoming men in your own right.
Yeah.
So he's just like,
Congratulations,
and those
Arnold.
owlbears are pretty much shot wrecked dead as they come in. You see your father, you see your brother, you also see a person from your town. Your father is like captain of the guard, like the city guard, and one of you are like older classmates. This big square-jawed, red-haired, jock. He's the jock. I'm just gonna say that because it's easier.
Done.
His name is Lot Belvos. Lot Belvos, and he is and he's always been kind of a bully to both of you guys in the most respectful way one can be a bully to people that you're supposed to like take care of.
Right.
But because of age, you guys almost have a cousin-like relationship with him, and he's always been overly overly nice to you. He's obviously got a huge crush on you, and it's not like it's kind of disarming as opposed to creepy. You don't have to be into it, but it's just kind of like he always is extra polite to you.
Okay.
He's always extra formal with you, and you're like, it's the only time he looks like a decent human is when he's interacting with you. Otherwise, he's just this jerk that's always trying to give this guy swirlies in the old medieval style outhouse swirlies, which are just awful.
The worst.
Ugh.
Ugh.
All right, you can have my
That's how you
Pringles.
catch scurvy.
Once you pop,
Yeah,
that's nothing.
that is nothing.
Once you pop, you can't stop popping, baby. Get Pringles, baby.
Get
Pringles.
Oh, we're all getting hired out of this.
These are bad jokes.
I'm trying to get some sponsorship. Get Pringles, baby.
We could do a full season 6 community where
Yeah.
Subway.
we have specific stores that we go
We
to.
just we could have people play characters that are named after.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or employees of.
I am the Dairy Queen.
Oh,
Yes.
Bow before the Dairy King and the Burger King. Alright.
Dairy Queen.
Whatever.
There's a Dairy King.
I'm actually
Really?
captured by an owl bear in the air right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, back to the
Really
meeting.
helpful.
we're getting sponsorships.
The owlbear.
Hold on 1 second.
So you guys, they bust in. Everyone we're gonna go ahead and do our round of attacks. The owlbear looks down at you, and you can feel its grip tighten, and it's going to try to use all of its strength to fly even further into the air, and that's gonna be what it's gonna do. It's gonna use all of its movement to move. And we're gonna go around the table one more time.
You're the heroes. Don't look at me.
All your attacks will hit. So even if it's disadvantage, it's an auto hit. So. Who wants to go next? You want to go?
I'd love to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
I have a bow, right? Like
Sure.
a staff.
You have a staff and a bow.
Okay, I'm gonna take that that staff and I would like to hold on to it and smack it. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Hold on to the
The owl bear.
Owl bear.
Because it's I
right now.
imagine it's
Right now, its talons are wrapped around your chest.
so my arms are still free.
Your arms are free.
Okay.
It's gonna take. Make me a
Bird.
a dex check or sleight of hand to get your quarterstaff out without dropping it.
Did it.
Much
Okay.
better at that. Sleight of hand, 18.
Yeah, and the owlbear's kind of flipping around. It's trying to it's trying to knock you out. It's trying to pull you up high, knock the air out of you, and it's going to drop you to kill you. That's it.
Right.
So you were able to, like, even with all, like, the turbulence, grab the staff, and then what do you want to do with it? You want to hit it
What?
with the staff?
Yeah, well, my intention is to hold on to it
You
so
do
if it
that.
lets go of me.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
get in there and you're just going to...
A little snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, shillelagh.
From behind. Can I do that before, though?
Yes.
I thought I had to do it as a bonus action after.
Bonus actions can happen at any time.
Oh!
That's for you, audience.
I did not know
It can
that.
happen before your action.
So, yeah, before
Okay.
I smack it, I want to cast Shillelagh on it.
Cool.
So that I get the...
So when you cast Shillelagh, it literally changes the staff into a much more, like, larger, more, like, almost wooden version of it. What does it look
Nice. It's like a really big piece of wood.
like? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a log.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it turns it
It's
into
a
into a
log.
very it can look more ornate if you wanted to. For flavor, you can have it look any way you want to. since
No,
it's-
I really like
yeah,
it being
sure.
just a big old log.
Yeah. It's like nature flows through it, and it's just
Yeah.
it turns the kind of warps the staff. And okay, cool. Go ahead, make your attack.
Okay.
Hit that out.
Smack it.
You hit the owl bear. You already said that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it
it automatically hits.
With
Yeah.
thingam. So 1d8.
Oh.
You don't even have to roll. Yeah, so you swing.
Yeah, 8
You are
plus
a
3.
master of D8s.
Nice. Very cool. Go ahead and make a dex save to try to get free from its grasp.
I'm not so good at it.
We got it.
14.
Okay, it has dropped you.
Was I still?
You been dropped.
Yeah, you're still holding on. Maybe a
Got
strength.
dropped.
Maybe a strength check now. We'll see if you
Okay.
hold on to it. Whoa!
Strong.
How
I'm
much?
not-
Wow.
minus one.
She
We're gonna
is
do this.
150 feet up.
Ask if you can use athletics.
Can I use athletics?
Sure. Hoist yourself around. Get on its back.
14.
Yeah, so you actually pull yourself up by its fur and feathers and are able to kind of get up on it to like the side of its wing, and now you're effectively on the back of the owlbear, and it's trying to, it can't like quite.
Yeah, it probably doesn't like that.
Yeah, but it's not gonna it's not gonna fall into the ground.
Sure.
So, all right, so that's a slightly better situation. All right, who's next? Winifred, do you want to go? You want to shoot one of your
You're the heroes, don't look at me.
you can fire a magic missile.
Is that the only
I was gonna
owlbear
ask
left?
you,
I'll
is
go.
that
I'm
supposed to be
real-
included in one of my 6?
That's the only attack you have is.
Okay, so my attack
yeah.
is that.
So she
Cool.
she can do an attack.
I do
that-
like a
yeah.
cat's cradle kind of thing, and like little like fuses of magic kind of go from my fingers and then to each other, and they're like little lines that I'm going.
That's cool.
And when she does that, she can cast magic missile. It's just 1d4 plus 1. So the mages, they all have this.
Unlike you guys,
wimpy version of
been
magic
training
missile.
for a long time
Yeah.
to be
So
able to do
2d4.
1d4 damage.
Plus 1.
You don't have to roll to hit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
You wouldn't have to roll to
1d4.
hit anyways because it's magic
sorry.
missile. But,
Oh great, 1.
so 2. Okay, that's better than nothing.
1d4
ends.
plus 1 is the damage. Okay, cool.
All right, who's
There you
next?
go.
Is there a catapult or a slingshot around of some
Like,
sort?
what is the cruising altitude of a laden owlbear?
What is if it's carrying coconuts?
African or Europe.
It could be an African owlbear.
I'll go and take some more arrow shots at it.
Yeah, well, go ahead and make your shot because it's gonna hit.
I'm gonna action surge then and use 2 shots.
Nice. Okay.
You got a slingshot?
Now I got a
Never
long
ride
row.
this die.
I think the
There
first
comes
the
the
first one
dirt.
automatically hits. The second one you'll have to
It's
roll.
suffocating.
Okay.
No.
So the first one does
Oh, that's
2.
right.
Yeah.
You would never do that.
So
no,
first arrow does
Ms.
2
Druid.
damage.
Because I'm on it in the air. I
That's
gotta get
true.
that down.
It would break your
What's
fall.
What's your bonus?
No,
Plus
that makes
one.
more sense.
Dex is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not superheroes. I'm gonna use a hero point on this shot.
Okay.
And use another one. 14 to hit.
That hits.
I thought you were automatically hit.
Well, I automatically
His
hit
first
the
one,
first shot.
the first attack.
I'm
hits.
action
Sorry.
surging.
He did. He
Sorry.
action surged to do another one.
For 3 damage.
Nice. All right. Anyone else before Nathan's turn? You're on the battlefield now. So you said you're looking for a sling. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, to just be slung up into the air to try and get on top of it.
I don't think there's any conveyance that can.
So I'm just looking around for
Yeah,
one. But
this is more of a makeshift camp. There's not any like cool warfare stuff that you could distract yourself to and go crazy with.
I haven't gone yet.
Okay, cool. What do you want to do?
I was gonna witch bolt him.
Awesome. It hits.
No. Witch bolt him. That's 7 lightning damage.
How do you kill it?
Yeah.
Just like fries to a crisp from my hand, and like
So you get the bolt. The witch bolt does.
Oh no!
Radiant damage.
Lightning.
Look at you.
Lightning damage.
Yeah.
Not a good situation.
I
I
imagine
feel
just
like
gets
all
like
of
the
us are
beak
maybe
in the
trying to put our
head,
hands together.
and just like her
Like a
head's
hammer.
all fried, like crispy, and the body just kind of goes limp and starts like.
Oh,
Are there still
man.
wings?
Yeah,
Are
there's
there
still
feathers
wings.
on the wings?
There are feathers on the wings.
I would like
You're on
to-
the back of it.
Yeah, I would like to grab in the wingish area and like try to pull the wings back so maybe we can
Oh,
we
like
can
lies.
glide,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
yeah.
glide
What
down a little
cantrips
bit.
you got?
Like, you know.
What cantrips?
Druid craft.
Does she have druid craft?
Yeah.
Well, do you have any hero points?
She can have one of
I have two.
mine.
Give me both of your hero
No.
points. And yeah, you can roll me a nature check to try to get all the feathers on the thing to catch as much lift as possible.
Okay.
Amazing.
Just like no, like and she's just
Pulling back.
falling from the sky.
21.
Awesome, yeah. And it's like, and as she starts to fall, the owlbear, as it's coming down, you see it looks pretty cool. She's like riding down. It's like, and it kind of like levels out, and you're like, awesome. And then it just starts to spin out of control,
no.
and she's able to just like put the body of the bear between her and you. Make me a dex save to see how
No.
you're going to take
It's
a lot
like-
of damage.
it's
or
like
a little bit of
Dunkirk.
damage.
Anyone saw Dunkirk?
Not see Dunkirk.
It was a good movie.
Ooh.
There's an
20.
owlbear scene in it.
Awesome. We'll take half
The
damage
owlbear
from
scene
this
was-
fall.
was epic.
The owlbear scene in Dunkirk's really good. You're gonna take 9 damage. So it's harrowing, but
Okay.
you're alive.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
was unexpected. So that means
15 total. You shouldn't erase that. You need to
Oh.
remember it.
right. So, up how many I have left then?
15 minus 9.
Yeah.
I don't math. How much is
No,
that?
it's
Tell me.
You did it.
Just tell me.
The question was, is it better to have how many you have left?
Sure.
Okay.
It's your imagination.
Do you comb your dog's nose hair?
Can't wait to part that
Yeah.
All right. This is at Fighter's Fortress.
Good lady.
It is a level 1 Fighter's Fortress. So anyone who has a martial class can use the abilities that are granted by being. So you guys are going to start kind of collecting little locations as you go around. You can share them, and eventually you can start kind of having your own if you want to, as we level up and get more powerful. But right now you guys have this little like relic of a keep, and if you spend time and money, you could upgrade it. Right now it doesn't have a level yet, and when you do, you'll get if you're a fighter, there's a fighter ability that you get that's with it. It also is the way you recruit people. So you guys have to like. That's more of like a dog ear that, and later in the campaign that will be more important. But
Cool.
Scroll.
no one will lay claim to this place, and it's protected because
Scroll
of the
through,
dragon
there's a really
that lives
cute
underneath
idea.
it. There's not going to be monsters that like try to like live up inside of it and stuff.
Cool.
All right, well, and with that, the battle's over. Everyone have a hero point. Good job.
Hooray!
Everyone, all the cavalrymen who came here, because all the other knights were
That's
killed.
my favorite.
No.
Including Lysa. Yeah, Lysa was
Nelly.
Liza
brutally-
Minnelli.
brutally murdered
Oh my God.
by baby owlbear.
What a shame.
Guts everywhere. But,
Alas, poor Liza.
Liza.
poor Lysa.
We knew her well.
And your father, Redmond, Weston kind of rides up and he sees Xanatos, and you know how much your father hates those magi. He looks at him and then he kind of like greets him in the way that one does when dealing with like official business. He's still got to be respectful, but he doesn't have to like it. And your father has spoken to you probably 10 times since you joined up with his group in the last 48 hours. You were riding down because of a special order from Xanatos. You were told to meet there. You actually got held up along the way. So you're late by Xanatos' standards, and your father's just kind of been annoyed with you ever since you got sick. So you've just never been able to fix that with him. And obviously the path you're on now doesn't help that. He thinks all the magi are charlatans and fools who believe in conjurations and grumpkins. I think I used the word grumpkins last time. So and he sees you, Kindle, and he's got the sternness about him, but the moment he sees you, a little bit melts away. And when he sees the both of you, he almost smiles, including you, Philippa. And he's basically like, son, I'm happy to see you, alive. That's about as tender as he's going to get.
Happy to be alive.
I'm happy to be alive, Dad.
He looks over. Not pleased. He said, well, that makes one of us. The wrong kid died.
The wrong kid died.
No, he's not that mean.
We're both
He's not that mean. He just wasn't speaking to you, and he doesn't like your glibness. And he says, collect yourselves and meet us at the top of the tower. I want to speak with Xanatos like at the top of the keep. I want you guys to like basically a private meeting.
Okay.
But it is just like the end of a battle, so like everyone's gonna take a break, like
Cool. Yeah.
get the blood off of them and tend to the wounded and stuff. But there needs to be like basically all the adults are here. Let's make a plan of action. He's decided to include the both of you.
Okay.
And by extension, anyone else who wants to walk up with him. Redmond is not going to.
Can I take a rest?
All the way up there.
Yeah, how you feeling over there?
Yeah, how many
Not
hit points
great.
you got?
I got 6.
That's 6 hit points. Well, this would count as a short rest, so if you want to spend hit die, you can take a little bit of.
You only
Ever?
get one back per long rest.
Yeah, you get one back per long rest.
Okay,
You can
well,
spend up during a short rest. You can spend up to as many hit die as you have. You'll only ever have as many hit die as you have levels.
So you start by rolling 1, and you add your constitution to it, and then you can roll another.
Okay.
Or you could take your
Um,
middle score if you don't want to
level
roll.
So I should be level 2.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Wendell!
6.
So good to see you.
And I throw out
Still
like,
doing
oh.
Still doing well.
God.
I just. Well, Wendell is my name. Damn it.
I know that.
If it isn't little brother,
Pretty sure I'm older.
I was born first.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah, the books say Endel, and it's spelled like my name, not A-L-L.
Indle.
Yeah, it says Endel. There's a
Scandal
grease
and
stain.
Wendell.
Change the way you spell your name.
I've always spelled it that
It's
way.
spelled like ladle, but with a W.
It's spelled like Pringle. Like
you
I am.
please?
Why?
Pringle.
Why? It's weird that you have
Come
a
on,
book
let's
with
go
your
with-
name written.
Let's
in it.
go with Dad. Come
Okay,
on.
let's do that.
And then so the
Dad,
brothers.
did you see
And
this?
so the brothers were reunited.
Another brother.
Goofy as ever and happy to see each other.
I've been eating too many Pringles.
You guys, while you're having your
Rather not
meeting
roast
upstairs, you're having your meeting upstairs, Opal, you and Winnie and Yaka, why don't you guys go talk to the dragon, or try to interact with the dragon? I imagine that you would be trying to interact with the dragon. As opposed
Oh, I'm going with official. See, that's
and
not-
Opal specifically would be like
Yeah.
I don't care about what they're doing up there. And Allison can go with whichever group she wants.
Oh, I can go too? I thought I was resting.
Well, as part of all of this is during this you'll be eating like basically resting just represents whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Wrapping your wounds and. I'll let you pick which group you want to go to. If you're more interested in hearing about what the lord of your land has to say about what's going on and that kind of business, or I'll let you go with the group who's going to go try to interact with the dragon.
I was gonna run away from them, so I think I'll go with the dragon.
Try to run away from them?
That was my plan when we
Yeah.
first started this thing, so I think I'm gonna go with the
I'll
dragon.
be okay.
So you guys.
I'm your guardian, so I'm following you.
So you guys head down to this like semi-hidden chamber. It's a bit of it's these really narrow steps. It's very very small to get through. What was a slide was essentially just debris, and has cleared away this ancient little tiny stairwell. And when you get down into this cavernous space where this dragon, this huge, humongous dragon head is, it is just.
Sleeping?
Seems to be sleeping. Opal, do you want to interact with it?
Yeah, I feel like I would run up and just be excited and
Yes,
like
yeah.
run and hug its face.
Awesome. When you run up and you touch its face, two things happen. You are immediately like paralyzed, like frozen in space. Touching this thing makes all the little crystalline fragments on you start to hum, and you start to get overwhelmed with information. So you immediately have to like step back from it before you can, before your head starts to fry. It's such an old and ancient creature, and its body has grown into the ground itself. So it's infinitely wise, but it's asleep, and you know that there are it for lack of a better term is it needs some juice. It needs dragon's breath. It needs this like mystical energy that and that's exactly what you'll be like. We need dragon's breath. We need dragon's breath, and everyone's like, what? Because this is all stuff that makes perfect sense to you, but doesn't really like make any sense to anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
you
do
know
not have dragon's breath.
Huh.
I just checked. I do not have dragon's breath.
you know that basically it when all the other dragons died, air quotes, there's something inside of them that switched off in Eldest as well. So Eldest is basically in an inert state. It's cute. It looks like he's sleeping, but you can't slap him out of it. So
Is that why I couldn't hear his mind speech?
yes, because he's technically not here. Like his spirit is not on the mortal plane. It's just his body that's here. So the dragon fire will wake him up. It will ignite his heart and mind, and it will set off what you think to be the chain of events that you're supposed to be here for. So you would know that in your heart that you need to go search for this dragon fire, and that's pretty much be like the last big thing that your character will know for a while as far as like
Innate
truths.
knowledge.
Yeah. And with that, that's basically it. You can't really get another reaction out of Eldest. And like I said, anyone else who attempts to touch Eldest can feel a presence in their mind, as if you're an open book. So if anyone does touch the dragon, it feels as if all of your secrets and truths have been revealed, and it's a little unnerving. But if you try to touch her specifically with your psionic abilities, or touch him, it will hurt you. So. And upstairs at the meeting, unless any of you guys want to do anything else in that space, I mean, there are maybe some other interesting things down there, depending on what you're interested in. But before I just jump,
Is there any cool rocks?
there are some cool rocks.
I'm gonna take.
This whole cavern.
Cool
This whole cavern is overgrown with sapphire, so there are quite a few sapphire.
Do you have a bag or anything?
Nope, I'm just gonna carry him. I was just born. I don't have.
Okay,
any.
well I'm gonna.
There's gear here, and you can easily find simple bags and even like clothes if you wanted actual clothes. But
I want to find a bag that's like a satchel, but I'm gonna put it around my neck instead of like around my arm.
Like
And
a
I'm just gonna
necklace.
grab all these cool rocks.
Perfect. Cool.
I'm gonna help you because
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
so.
it's like
This is the.
it's like protecting a kid. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Is
well,
this rock
here,
cool enough?
is this the rock you're? I'm picking up normal rocks though. They're not like gems
Also,
because I'm
you-
blind.
you-
So I'm like, is this it?
This if you were to look at this thing as being like a sign of like religious affirmation for you, an orc who spent
Mhm.
their life to protecting the realms for the dragons, and now you're the guardian. It's like you found your purpose, and you're probably like, oh, there's wisdom here. You know what I mean? Like whatever this
Yeah.
thing's doing,
This-
it's teaching me something.
Well, the
So-
second he saw it, he immediately like fell to his knee and
Yeah.
like prayed.
Yeah.
Like for the first time in.
So I'm
Oh,
saying like
this is
when
a good
she's
job.
collecting rocks,
Yeah.
it's like oh there's a certain like tranquil
Ritualistic
peace about this.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll go upstairs, and you guys are being privy to a conversation along with your good friend, and you meet him at the stairwell as you guys are walking up. What was his name? Lot.
Lot Belvos.
Yeah, Belvos. Lot is like,
Lot.
what up, nerds?
Hi, Lot.
Lot.
Belvos.
What are you?
No, he's actually these days he's very serious. He's all of this. The past is the past. He's whenever you guys try to like bring up, he's like he works now. You know, he's no longer. Those are we were kids then. I'm a grown up now. He's got pretty much that.
Come on, one swirly for old time's sake.
Exactly.
In front of my little brother.
He's basically he's like, what are you guys doing here? Like, why are this is only for like the king's knights and like or for the Lord's knights and like the inner circle.
He's her dad.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean you just have the right to go wherever you want. You're not like the princes of whatever this place is.
Aren't we?
Yeah, well, he's
Pretty sure we are.
Are we
he's like if I as I see it, the only place you were the lord to be of is dead and gone.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, he's
Where are your parents, Lot?
and he's like he gets really upset. He like
You
walks off.
got him!
I don't want to high five on the death of our village, but
Oh, he's
there's
that.
no reason to be a dick about this.
As you guys reach the
Yeah.
crest, you see that your father and Xanatos have not started speaking yet. They've been waiting for you. And Xanatos is the first to kind of when he sees you, he's like, oh, young lords, come look. And he brings out a spying glass and he hands it to each of you. And he directs you out into the distance, and he points, and you can see the town of Weston. And it shows it with relative closeness, so you can see the majority of the town. And roll a perception as you guys each take your turns looking through.
Who will see better?
Who will percept the best?
19.
22.
So you both, as you look through, you can see
That's right.
on the edges of the town, small figures of people standing around the town. And Xanatos says we were able to stop the spread of those horrible creatures from leaving the town by creating a dead zone. He said basically that he has people stationed outside the city 24 hours a day, and they're maintaining ritual magic that is removing all the magical elements from the town, and it has made all the flesh, like the court of the flesh, go inert. So literally all these things are just like turned into puddles. It's like this wet, slimy, fleshy covered town where no magic works right now. And effectively they've stopped the spread of this thing. As long as they keep this anti-magic field up and kind of going. It's very arduous, it's hard work, it's not something they can there are 25 magi, he says, that are all surrounding the town. He says he also tells you that one of the reasons that this happened here, he said that they're not sure why. A few mysteries. He says, I need to know who attacked me. He says, I don't know. I'm not so sure that the two attacks were coordinated. Remember, there were those thugs that.
Right.
He says, I'm not convinced that those are the same incident. And when he does that, he kind of makes a suspicious glance at your father. And then, I don't think you need to make an insight roll to see what he's implying. But your father's like looking off into the distance, like basically like he's waiting to be spoken to. He's not going to like lower himself to be part of this conversation until he has to be.
Okay.
He says that the town and your home was built on top of one of the dragon's cauldrons of creation. So there are these ancient sites where myth would tell you that the first people were born, where and that's the cauldrons held the all flesh. It's the material that the dragons made all the living creatures from. This is all just like folklore, though. This is stuff that you might have heard kind of colorfully told to you as a kid, and Xanatos is kind of explaining it to you in a detail and authority that makes it sound like it's more like fact.
Okay.
And you also
believe him.
Yeah, and you've also seen these horrible things.
Yeah.
You would of course believe him because you've been trained.
You've been indoctrinated.
Yeah, you're already indoctrinated.
Yeah,
Part of
man.
the cult.
Yeah.
So why did this happen now?
Says, well, that's what we need to find out. Says we have to wake the dragon. So it can't. You. And he kind of walks over to you, and where's your fate struck mark?
I'm actually gonna say it's on my head,
Nice.
underneath my hair, and it makes me just kind of glow a
Nice.
little bit more.
Yeah. So he kind of pulls your hair back, and as he does, you like he kind of shows it to you, and then he's like, and you're like, oh, I know it. Oh, I've heard, this is the thing that we've done.
brother.
And he says he kind of tries to show it to your father, and your father like looks over and is just he's not comfortable with it. He says we have to he says awake the dragon. He says that to you, and he says it kind of like cryptically because once again your father kind of peeks up like
Okay.
what, and he's like, oh, so you decided to join the conversation, Lord West.
It sounds like a doorbell.
Hey, listen. Stop.
No, you're good. Quietly.
Chill. No,
the
sir. No, sir.
dog attack. He's like I basically.
Good job, dogs.
Oh, I can't remember what we were saying.
Join the
Join the conversation with.
Yeah, join the conversation. He says, "Well, I'm just waiting. I'm just giving you my due civility. You being the praetor and all. He's like I know where I need to take my people. We need to go to the Hall of Lords, and we need to invoke our sovereign right to arms. We need to gather up the resources of all the free peoples, and we need to attack this horrible demon plague." He says, I won't sit by and wait for bureaucrats and politicians to figure out how we're all going to die.
She's been here for like 2
And Xanatos says, you know what? Your father is right. At this point, you join the conversation. You kind of come up to the top of the tower from the bottom, and you kind of implore Lord Weston, to like maybe listen to Xanatos, and he's like, he kind of gives you like a wide kind of look, and you kind of, do you remember the things we talked about earlier today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you're gonna have to back up for me though. I didn't know I was here for this.
I just said you walked in.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. So you walked in, and basically you're just going to like go with Xanatos. Be like, yeah, you need to let. You should go in place.
Yes, with his father.
And you say that Kendall should stay here with the wounded and the sick, because the issue right now is who we can't take everybody, and that's
I tell you, your father that the people here trust you, and will let you lead them, and that's why you should stay, and he should be the one to go.
At least, and Xanatos says this is a good idea. At least until we can get like proper transportation for these sick people, we can take them to Bastion. We can provide a safe place for them to heal. He says this is a good idea. He says, I tell you what, your lordship. He says, I give you the full authority of the praetor to go to the lords and request the right to arms. He says,
Wow.
I'm going to give you that authority. I will stay here and I will watch your children, and I will we will keep these people sick, these sick people safe. He says, I fear the worst right over the horizon. He says, we're so close that should one of my men fail. Basically,
Yeah.
you guys roll an insight right now, if you would.
19.
Mm, 6.
You see what's happening. This guy's buttering your dad up.
Yeah.
He's saying, like, you can have sovereign law. He's giving them, like, all this authority to, like, and he even gives him, like, his signet ring and is like, go along your merry way. And it doesn't take long for your father to look at you and want to question the situation, but the ability to respond so quickly and to kind of grab a little power is too much for him to say no to.
Right.
And he basically is like, all right then. He says, you'll stay here with the children and the sick. Very good. And he kind of walks off and he says, you have to listen to this man while I'm gone. And he says, and he looks at Xanatos and he says, don't make me regret this. And he,
Can I have entered this conversation?
as he's leaving, you can interact with, you guys were
Yeah, well, I know we were coming
yeah,
up, yes.
yeah. So you can, yeah, for sure.
Can I have heard that, or am I too late?
No, it's like right as he's about to leave.
Okay, well then I want to talk to him.
Sure.
I want to approach him and just say, my lord, that your sons and your Philippa and this Jimson dragon, they have a destiny, and it's not meant to be here.
He won't make eye contact with you. You're a little bit taller than him, but I guess you can't see that. So
I'm not making eye contact with him.
yeah, he doesn't look at you either, and he just says, out of my way.
And I just like kind of, I do that like the hard like stand for a second, and then I kind of move to the
He
side.
says, he mutters something about orcs in the Southland and how it's just like.
Yeah, well, I've gone a long time. That doesn't.
And literally, like him and his small
Yeah.
contingents.
That's a racist.
100%.
Yeah, and Lot, who was standing at the edge of all this, is kind of like he thinks he's won now because now you guys are staying behind.
Mhm.
Like, ideally, in his head, he
Back.
sees going on the front line, going with your father being where the action's at, getting to go to these big meetings.
Right.
As his number two he sees as a big step up, so he kind of like smiles and puts on his helmet, and they leave almost immediately.
Okay.
And with that, Xanatos, as soon as they're like, bye, Xanatos is like, he just starts moving, like packing up stuff, like Gandalf at the right before he's about to send Frodo off on him. Like he's grabbing gear and supplies, and he's starting to very quickly explain a plan to Winifred, but not to you guys. And he says that basically you're going to need to go, after he explains to her, he's collecting all of you, and he'll explain that you have to make your way, you have to leave tonight. So you have to make your way to Bastion. You have to go on the train that takes you into the Dwarven Kingdom, and you have to find the Dragon's Breath, because we'll just go ahead and, it's not really like telling you a thing to make you tell an NPC that I told you is not really compelling, like storytelling. So we'll just go ahead and say that already happened. And the one thing when you were talking to him, roll an insight, Opal, as Xanatos is talking to you.
6. I'll use a hero point.
You can have one of mine.
14.
Yeah, he seems to, at least of everyone around you, he seems to have the most knowledge of what you're talking about. When you say Dragon's Breath, he knows exactly what you're referring to. He says it was called Dragon's Breath by the old people, but it's this very specific type of magic energy that can only be found in places, basically in dragon graveyards. He says, so you have to go to the Shardlands where the pact was signed and where all the dragons died. A place that's riddled with magical infamy and danger. He says, I would never get the clearance to send any of my people beyond the human walls. He says, I can use my authority to get you through there, no problem. He says, but as far as getting the bureaucrats to push the pencil to get us moving forward, he said it would never happen. The treaties would never let us move people between the states and never let you get off the train in the Shardlands. He says, so you'll actually have to like jump off the train. Like this is a very dangerous mission. But he looks at each of your like fate marks, your fate struck, and he says, and then he looks at you and he's like, but I believe in all of you, and I believe that this is your destiny. He says, my men will not be able to hold those monsters in that town. He says, we have to find a way to awaken Eldest, and we have to find a way to save everyone. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. He says, because first this city, then the rest of humanity, then all of Abilon, all gone. So
Let's go do
yeah.
it.
So he's basically going to say, I'm going to send you off tonight. You guys have to leave. Head up north via the path.
Wait, me too?
Yes.
I came to study with you.
He says this is where you need to be. He says he pricks your he takes your hand and he pulls out a needle and he pricks your thumb.
Ouch!
And when he does, your blood and maybe you've noticed before. I don't know if you've seen your blood since your change, but your blood is this like glowing iridescent. Like they did like dark magics to you that have changed you. And he's like you're part of this as much as anyone else. He says I've been watching you for a long time. He says, you'll find all the training you need. He says, everything we can teach you isn't enough. And, so you guys have to go on this very dangerous journey. But
Awesome.
It starts with you heading back out through the forest. Not really the way you came, but up and around and north. And then you'll head back onto the path. And the path will lead you all the way up to Bastion, which is the last human city among the edge of the human territories. And then the Shardlands are this basically like a marsh of like irradiated like water. It's irradiated with magic. It's infused with magic, and the dragon's breath is like the aether wave that we had in the other campaign. So it's just like this or
Magic weave kind of thing.
or what's it called? Fair's rays, whatever. I can't even whatever. It is
those things.
In Forgotten Realm. It makes magic go bonkers, and it's just like the remnants of ancient like dragon, like the presence of dragons, which are essentially like the gods of like the primordial realm. Cool. Let's go ahead and let's take a break, and we'll come back. We'll come back in like 20 minutes. Let's take a 20-minute break.
Bing bong, bing bong.
Thank you, 20.
Suck it!
Thank you, 20.
Suck it.
Can I
The
share?
Illuminati.
Can I give a shout out to this Etsy artist
Wait.
who gave me these spell cards?
Yeah, as long as you pay for it.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it on PayPal just now.
Yeah, dude. Go for it. You're by camera.
Yeah.
You're basically showing them right now.
I will. I
Okay.
just need to figure it out.
I was joking, but your papers are on the
Yeah.
shop. Also, your computer
What's this?
is like. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
This is a.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not in the way or anything. It's just like whatever you're looking at is it's like right on
Really?
the camera.
I was looking at it earlier. I couldn't see it. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So you guys.
Oh, wait.
So to set up to kind of rehash the plot or like set it back up again. There is some sort of horror. Those flesh creatures have something to do with the creation myth of the land. They aren't an inherently evil force so much as a primordial force, and they were created by the dragons. And you just found a dragon, so logic dictates to wake the dragon up and help it stop these things from spreading. Because what they're doing is they're absorbing humans. They're not just killing them. They're like taking their flesh
Like a
and adding
blob.
it. Yeah, they're adding it to. They're like a mix between like like a blob threat. They're like kind of like oozes, but they're also kind of fleshy. So they're kind of like Zerg. They're kind of like zombies. They're just like whatever that. They're very like
Mindless. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're
Take
like
over.
flesh.
Yeah. Okay.
and they've got like a nice like Silent Hill aesthetic to them. They're very
Like
horror-
today's
horror,
weather.
Yeah. So you guys are now leaving. Xanatos is giving you brief directions before he's going to head back to the city of Weston and help maintain the front line as they build. Basically, they're going to build a little like encampment that will surround the city, and they're going to send more and more resources to it. But his fear is that this will not be the only one. That there are obviously multiple of these, and the longer we wait, the more likely more of these will pop up,
Yeah.
and then we'll be outnumbered.
Yeah.
Um,
We gotta take care of them.
so you guys need to make your way to the Shardlands, which are all the way across the northern border. It's a wall city. It's literally a city built between two giant mountain ridges in a valley, and it's a tiered wall. They're called Bastion, and it's the very last human city before you go into the orc protectorate lands, and then into the dwarven kingdom. And the Shardlands are basically all of what the orcs have inherited. It's just all this horrible place.
Great.
Where,
So a train was mentioned.
yeah, there's a big train.
Like dwarven technology.
Like dwarven technology, yeah. They have very like
Not like a caravan.
no, it's like a steampunk it's very like Victorian England. The dwarves.
Shut up.
Instead
Sweet.
of yeah, they're
Get that out of
yeah, and there's to get through this tumultuous. What did I just say?
Yes,
said it
tumultuous.
right.
Tumultuous.
Tumultuous.
Through the Shardlands, they built a train that moves super quick and super safely. So the train is the safe way into the Dwarven Kingdom, and it's an easy way to keep kind of human interaction in the Dwarven realm kind of minimal. It's not like illegal to be a human there, but no one's just like, I'm gonna go take vacation in the bound lands of Doran. It just sounds nice. I hear that their
I'll be very
spires are lovely.
comfortable there.
Yeah, so that's just not something that
Are
happens.
they like intermountain dwarves?
The northern dwarves are like traditional, like Lord of the Rings style dwarves that do a lot of like delving and like tinkering, and they build airships.
Right.
And then the southern dwarves have free cities and are more like Victorian style and more egalitarian.
Gotcha. So we'll be taking their train.
Yes, yeah. It just leads you into the dwarven lands, and then.
All right,
there's a station, so.
Do any of us know?
So he has a map. So you basically have two options. You can try to go through the woods, or you can try to go on the road. Each have kind of their own peril. The road, of course, is going to be probably the quickest way because it doesn't involve overland travel through, uncharted rivers and that kind of stuff.
Bogs.
Yeah. But it's It would say it's the safest way, but it's also the most obvious way. I think that in that way it's not the safest. You know what I mean? Like,
The path.
Bandits and shit.
So traveling the wood kind of keeps it so that your interactions with other people, it's kind of like your fear is that you've got this very special like creature.
Yeah.
So that's kind of but she also has like that's like that amulet that like protects, makes her look like a human. There you have options, so it's kind of up to you guys. But there isn't a right or a wrong answer. This is more just what kind of adventure do you guys want to have? Do you want to be going through the forest, through the old wood,
Do I need to scooch up?
trying to make your way to like the edge of the heartlands, or do you want to just go ahead and take the road, which is probably the most direct route?
I feel like we're gonna get perils either way.
Let's go
What are
through
we
the
most
trees.
equipped to do?
I want to study these leaves and see what we find in there.
Are you equipped to take care of us in the middle of the woods? We've got a ranger and a druid. I trust her.
Yeah.
I trust this magnificent creature.
I'm sorry, I don't even know who you are.
I bet there's lots of cool rocks out there.
Winifred Wickham.
My name's Wendell.
So I know how many cool rocks. did I get
Well, to
before?
meet you.
You got
What's her deal?
a satchel full
They
of
just
cool
showed
rocks.
I was
One
busy saving
satchel.
You're doing alright.
I'm gonna have
Cool
grabbed
rocks.
an extra satchel.
got you,
to
bro.
carry
If the
other
bag
rocks
can
in.
hold
We've been
5
through shit
weight
together.
points worth of weight. So,
Whoa.
We've almost died together.
for
Language,
the weight
please.
cost of
I am.
Mhm.
on your special bag.
I am young.
17.
You said they were
17
sapphires?
and I'm 19.
Yeah.
That's why
About
it's a bit
17.
She knows math. I
Okay.
know math.
So what is our plan, guys? Do we want to take the road?
I'm
We
a
want to
magus.
travel through the wood.
What are we all
through the
best
woods.
at? Through the
Woods.
woods?
Woods.
Road.
Okay.
I say road.
Road.
What?
2
you
for
just
road.
said woods.
I did not.
No,
You
I
did.
said woods, but I said it in his voice.
Oh. Woods.
Woods.
Mad
Raise
guys.
your hand for
That's
woods.
your vote.
Don't you want to go find cool
you'd
rocks
probably prefer
out
the
in the
roads.
woods?
Oh, raise your hand for road. Like I said.
No.
You could try to hire a
cool
stagecoach. Like, you
rocks.
could hire a coach. Like,
Cool rocks,
Looks
Yahoo,
like we're a
cool
hung jury.
rocks.
Opal. The road is made of rocks.
The road is made of rocks.
That would be a lot of cool rocks.
And
But
you would meet so
A lot of
many...
those rocks have been whittled down. They got big rocks in the forest.
No,
I
you
know.
see so many...
Ooh,
I wear these
I like
spectacles.
big
right.
rocks.
So the road it is. As you guys pull out the map and kind of try to figure out where you are and the quickest way to the road, the most direct route, the moon has start to come out between the clouds, and so the mist and the fog now just kind of settles at your feet. It's not quite as like thick, and you guys can see in long distances, and the night starts to be kind of clear.
Well, not all of us.
Roll
gonna
me
play
a survival or nature. What does she have? Nature. Roll me a
Probably
nature.
both.
You have survival.
She
I.
does.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'd rather do survival.
Roll me a survival, please.
20.
Cool.
Wait.
So you pull out the Kindle. You pull out the map, and you're like, okay, well, how do we? And she's just like, and it's that way, and like immediately, like it doesn't take her 2 seconds to look at it. And as you start to head down, you find a footpath that leads through the forest that looks like people might have used this a long time ago to take shortcuts. And as you can start to walk up that way. As you do, everyone roll me a perception. We'll start with you, Bryce.
6.
10.
Nice.
7.
Yeah, natural 20. I don't.
21.
Nice.
And 19.
Okay, this side of the room.
Nice.
I'm looking at
Good
cool
net
rocks.
20.
Oh, 25.
It isn't something you see so much as something that you taste. The air is no longer cold and wet. It is dry, and there's a metallic-ness to everything around you.
Had a stroke.
The
Of genius.
moon appears to have gone behind a cloud, but you can tell that it is not where it should be and that the stars are not the correct stars. It looks as if you're looking up into an alien part of the sky. Winifred, as soon as they point out these things to you, you would know that this is what they call the bleed, where Arcadia sometimes seeps into the forest here in Abilon. And they're kind of like little fractured pockets of reality. So you guys really need to keep your guard up because this in the wood here there could be fey creatures or like the shadows of these creatures that are kind of exist kind of here as an echo of themselves.
They're one of Xenatos's favorite scary stories.
It's true.
To tell in the dark.
Yeah.
A great time to tell one.
And it's right as she says that, do you guys all notice along the footpath in front of you, could have swore it wasn't there before, a little cottage.
Oh look, a little cottage.
What does it smell like?
More importantly, what does it taste like?
Well, you smell as you're walking up. You can smell
toast.
fresh, like roasted meats and
Boom roasted.
seasonings. It smells delicious, actually. Now that you say it,
It's not like
someone's cooking something. Maybe bread or maybe a stew.
this is a stroke.
This makes me hungry. Come, let us check it out.
All right, let us check it out.
Do I feel any dread at all?
I think immediately it's like you guys are like she's like this is there could be some foul fey play like
And
spirits
boom,
and
there
then
it
you guys
is.
look up and you're like, oh, is that roasted beef? Where did that cottage feel like it's not a
This wait a minute.
yeah
This isn't normal.
So would there be like standard things like don't eat in fey situations, that kind of stuff?
this is all brand new
This is our
territory.
first
This is
time.
all
Like
brand new territory.
fairy tale.
Everything that she's saying to you has been purely academic to her until right now.
I've
Right.
never
this second.
seen it before.
So what you're gonna find is that she's gonna know a lot about the stuff that's happening about you, but no one's gonna have seen it documented in a long time.
Cool. Second important point. Am I on a pony?
You are on your pony.
Okay.
Am I on
Huzzah.
a donkey still?
You are still on a donkey.
Great.
Huzzah!
All right. Riding up to the door and I'm gonna knock.
There were actually more horses, so you guys can all.
Yeah, we're on
Yeah.
horses.
No, I'm still on my donkey.
Wait, brother, don't. That sounds dangerous.
Don't knock. Beware.
We clearly not.
You knock on the door.
Absolutely.
Okay. As you do, everyone roll another perception for me.
Is it a sight?
It's silence, yeah. You cannot see. You cannot sense this. So do not roll.
I'm too busy knocking.
23.
Okay.
19.
Okay. You see it?
16.
Okay. When you see it?
9.
No, you don't see it. All too busy. You would probably move food. The sky. It's pink.
Cool.
Why is the sky pink? It's like pink moonlight. All of a sudden, it feels you feel even more not in the right place. You know
Can
what
I try and pull him back? Him being my brother and all.
Yeah, roll a dex save as he's knocking. Let's see.
What are you doing, man? Dex save, not strength.
Knocking here.
Me? Dex save?
Yeah, strength.
Can I grapple him?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
You roll a dex over there to see if you can. All you gotta do is knock.
Okay.
You have to get out of his way, I guess.
Versus my
Unless
strength.
you're gonna let him. I mean, if he's like, don't do it, and you're like, oh, well, I mean,
I
that's up to
rolled
you.
a 14 of knocking.
Okay, for my strength,
Yeah.
just save. Whoa.
No, whoa.
What did I roll there?
Not in the tray. It's
Oh,
not okay.
22.
Yeah, see, he's like, hey, maybe think about this before you do it. Do you still do it? I mean, he's not going to
Look
stop you
up.
from knocking if you want to. You can be annoyed by him trying to
Kendall?
interfere with your...
Look up. The sky
I don't
is
think you
pink.
should knock either.
This guy's pink.
Yeah.
Why would we not knock?
Why is this guy pink?
Have you been here before?
No.
Did you
Yeah.
learn something big in Bastion?
Yeah, this is not good, man.
No, it's not good.
We also took this
She
route
just
so
said
we
that
could
this
go
is
faster.
a time and area of fey creatures and death.
Yeah, I know about
Fairy.
From
fairy.
behind you guys, the door goes... Doom, doom, doom.
I cast
I
false
open
life
it.
on myself and give myself 4 hit points. Temporary hit points.
You open it?
Hello?
You, when you try to open it, the door, of course, opens in. Make me a strength save.
21.
Yeah, the door, you can feel it. For a minute, you can't let go of the handle, and it tries to like pull you inside the door, and you're able to kind of just like, to great pain, pull like your hand away. And inside this door frame is just the darkest, inkiest black that you've ever seen. And it seems to kind of breathe. Do that Peter Jackson, like, that scroll thing where you zoom in, the thing
vertigo
behind.
shot.
Yeah.
Now we've seen
Hitchcock.
it. I think we can go.
Hello.
Come in.
Everyone's like,
Do you have no light?
don't do it. No.
And it lights a match. It's a pink flame, and on the inside of this, you see just the light silhouetting this very beautiful, symmetrical elven face that seems to be very pristine and angular. Lots of like flat edges, almost alien but beautiful in its symmetry and the way it's put together. And it kind of like looks at you. It's got very full lips. It doesn't seem to indicate anything. Roll me an insight.
That one.
Not one.
It's obviously still terrifying, but it's not. It's it doesn't reveal anything to you. But it showed you where it was, and the flame goes out.
Since the creature hasn't been outright hostile, can I try to cast friends on it?
You cannot see it right now.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a chance next time. You can prepare the spell. The next time it reveals itself, you can. Try to cast
I can light my little small fire. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do that.
You
Then
do?
I would do that.
You do that, and you realize that the light doesn't seem to penetrate the blackness of the doorway.
Not pink.
What about with my blind sight? Can I see where it is?
You can sense where it is. Yeah.
Cool.
What I will say is, if you push your hand with the light, with the flame through the doorway, do you do that?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
I do not.
Friend,
do that.
I can't see you anymore.
It lights another match. Go ahead and cast friends.
Okay. And, sorry, can I have this back here? I think it grants me advantage on charisma checks for a minute. But I don't know if I have to.
I'm sure it makes a save. There's a hostile towards you. Oh yeah, that's cool.
No saves?
Oh yes, you just get charisma check. That's cool. That's a cool spell.
Okay.
Oh my god, Rain.
And it starts making the sound.
God.
Sure. Do you want to say something to it? Now that you've cast.
So-
I misunderstood how that spell works. So you should have been able to cast that whether you can see it or not. But do you want to say something to it?
I just want to try to persuade it to help us and like tell us or ask like if it knows what's going on, what we can do.
Okay. Roll a persuasion. Advantage.
Wham.
23.
23. 23. Yeah. The creature, its light goes out again, but you can hear the sound of big steps, boom, 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 moving in the darkness, and a figure starts to kind of pour out of the frame of the door, and it allows you guys can definitely step back away from it.
Yeah.
But
do that?
as it passes through the threshold of the door, it is revealed to be just a slender-figured humanoid. You would assume elvish. You would certainly pale white skin, almost porcelain, with a slight kind of pink and purplishness to it. Big ears. It seems to have like a large wrinkle that kind of runs up through the center of its face. That would be the only distinguishable. Other than that, it's a very like beautiful looking a creature, and it's dressed in like frilly clothes, like nice clothes. It's got a cane, and it's like it kind of like talks. As it talks, it doesn't move its lips very much, and it doesn't move its eyes at all as it looks around the room. Its eyes almost seem to look like like they're stone, and it just kind of looks and it says, "Have you come to have tea with me?"
Oh, most definitely.
It says, "After you," and it motions to the door, and says, "I am Vesh, the Sideways Man.
Ooh. Do you know where any cool rocks are?
Through my door."
I would go through the door.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm going to grab you.
Roll a dex. Roll a strength. Roll a strength off to see if you're able to go where you want to go.
3.
Nat 20.
That worked the way it should.
Nice, yeah, have a hero point.
No.
Pardon me,
I'm sorry.
kind sir.
But
I
cool
believe
rocks.
we
We'll
have
find out
gone
the cool rocks,
in
I
the wrong
promise.
direction, and we shall continue on our way.
You look tired and famished. Come inside.
Oh, I am
Traveling.
fine.
I'm good.
It's been like
I see.
5 minutes.
It kind of like
With
glides up to you
Thanks,
as it talks to each of you, and you can see that it almost will like try to touch you, but it never does.
Good, because I don't want to be.
Yeah, it
touched
doesn't.
by-
Yeah, it doesn't. It wouldn't invade your space.
Let it
And
try.
it tries though to offer you something that it thinks that you would want inside
Sure.
of its hut.
Yeah.
Everyone
Nibble
make me a wisdom saving throw as it goes around,
Yeah.
saying like, just to maybe get off your feet, have a hot bath.
7.
That one.
You've got your fate.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I know. I'm gonna use it. Yeah, I choose to succeed.
All right. Yeah, and you can feel his your very like presence of your soul being crushed. Like, oh, I'm gonna go do that. And where's your mark on your body?
It's over. It's my eyes.
Okay, cool.
And they
Yeah, your eyes they kind of glow, and you can for a moment you can see.
Something
See
really
what? See what?
creepy.
You can see the
Paris.
lies that it's telling you. You can see you see it in your mind's eye a face, a horrible.
Where'd you come from, dog?
You see its true face.
Okay.
And yeah, you're fine. What did you roll?
7.
You're gonna use yours.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
sure. Probably
Yeah, so same things. Like it's exerting its will over you, and then you're saying no. And as this first time, it kind of looks at you, and then it sees you do it, and it kind of like it gasps. And when it gasps, it opens its mouth, all the way open, and there are 2 sets of teeth and an eyeball that sits in the back of this creature. So
Why are we still
Oh
here?
man.
Is that what elves look like?
I know, I'm confused.
So long ago.
Maybe I just looked like an elf.
Is
feel like I would fucking shriek.
a fearsmith.
No.
Oof.
Man.
Can we pass it around?
Very cool.
no, you can't look at the stats.
I won't look at the Okay.
This is just to her,
Suck it.
or we all see this.
No. It after it's using very powerful magic, and
Will you show your
you
camera?
guys have
Show your camera for us real quick, just a picture. That's important. Creepy. Creepy.
It's like I'm using really super powerful magic, and the reaction to it not working made it drop its like facade for a second, kind of go a little more like animalistic, and it kind of like shrieks back, and then as soon as you look at it again, it's like composed and like back together.
Cool.
I don't understand why we're still here.
What did you roll?
Not nat 20.
You're fine.
9?
You're gonna use yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Cool.
Yeah, so the
Flex.
is going around.
This is cool.
Yeah, have a hero point. Have a hero point. Have a hero point. I like this now. What is your?
20.
Okay, you're fine.
Does this tingle my danger sense? Because
Yeah, it does.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's a like a magical effect. It's a.
So it's not a spell; it's an ongoing effect. is what you're saying.
It's a
Danger sex
spell like
is to
yeah.
dex saves only, not wisdom saves.
Is it dex saves only?
Yeah.
Dex saves. My sorry. On
No, you can't use it for this.
Sorry, Andy.
No. Don't be sorry.
Same
I
team,
misread
know,
it.
but no, I threw you under the bus.
You didn't.
It doesn't
Wow.
work. I rule lawyer.
Okay,
and
so
I'm
let
sorry.
me- Wisdom 19.
Okay, then you're fine. All right. So all of you don't go inside of his house, and if you don't, he can't make you. So he's
Classic vampire rule.
He's
Classic no face rule.
You made us waste so much time. I think we should
He's-
move on.
As he realizes this, he kind of looks at all of you and he says, "I do not scare you.
No, you're very
Were
scary.
you trying to? I thought you were inviting us to tea.
I'm so hungry."
Hey, listen. There are rabbits around here, but come on, we've got to.
I feed on fear.
Yeah.
We're not scared of you.
No.
I'd like to try to muster just a little bit of fear for him. I don't know.
Try if you can't.
I just
Appreciate it.
just try.
It's like it's now it's doing this like it's talking to you with its full face, and it is equally as frightening, but now it's also kind of weird and funny
Right.
because it's not like the pretense is
Like,
dropped. He's not going to trick you into. You're immune to his fear effect for 24 hours, so he
Right.
can't get you back right now. He also knows what's happening to him. He knows that he's trapped here in the bleed. He's stuck on this side of the reality, so he wants to get back to Arcadia. So he's actually
Arcadia is not our world, right?
Arcadia is the magical reflection of
Okay.
your world, the result
Is
of
there
the
like
pact.
a door around that we can open for him?
He says
We don't want to hope.
Look,
he says unfortunately no. He says that the gates of Arcadia must fall in order for me to go
What?
that's so scary.
home. He's like, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. What would have been in there?
Hmm?
What would have been in your home?
You want to see?
No, of course I'm not scared
Would
of
you
Come
stop
on.
trying to do that?
I got another 24 hours before, but come on.
Knock it off.
Your worst fears and nightmares.
All right, that's all right.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with your hopes and dreams.
He says, I tell you what, since you've evaded Vesh's trap, I will tell you a secret
Thanks, Vesh.
at a price.
Okay, what's
Like
the price?
Like a hand or
Hopefully
he's-
like a sandwich.
sandwich.
Oh,
A
mummy,
Who-
you
who-
weirdos.
Who wants to make a deal with him?
What are we dealing
I'll
for,
do it for a
Vesh?
cool rock.
No.
Just like,
Deal.
look at this cool rock.
I just want to, but whoever's gonna, if someone wants to do it, roll a d100, and I will tell you his terms before it happens.
Sure.
It
I'm
would
in.
be you.
Yeah,
It's gotta
I'm
be
in.
you.
Vesh is a nice guy. He's just doing what he gotta do. 49.
This is a fearsmith.
It's just a fierce
What'd
one.
you
Not a
roll?
big deal.
49.
I just decided. I'm scared.
He says, I will tell you a secret about my kin and about the perils you face. If you consent to give me some of your knowledge.
What is there like a physical? What does that mean, Vesh? You're gonna have to be a little less cryptic. I mean, you're so
Are you
scary,
friends?
Vesh.
He says, I just want the smallest morsel of information from your brain, and he goes so close to touch you, but he can't.
Say
He says, I will tell you Vesh's truth if you give me.
Vesh's truth.
What is Vesh's truth?
He
Don't
wants
stop
to be
it.
a
Hey,
poet.
Ash, thank you, but no.
As a sage, I advise you not to do this.
Yeah, I too am a
He
sage.
seems like a
He
nice
says,
guy.
I
Thank
want
you, but
the
no.
number 11.
No.
Oh, 11.
He wants you to roll
He says,
an
he says,
11.
if you agree to my terms, I'll tell you my truth, but you will no longer know the number 11.
That's my lucky number, Vesh. That's a really harsh deal.
Wait, why do you want 11?
Could I give you like
What is it about 11?
$1,000,001? That's a good number.
No!
It's-
He goes inside of his hut. He closes the door.
Jeez, you really blew it.
Like to go, Vesh, Vesh.
That,
The-
999.
disappears.
Ah. All right, guys, let's go.
That was great.
That was a waste.
We all learn things.
True.
I don't know what. We
worst
learned
11
together.
minutes of my life.
I can remember that.
I'm a
Yeah,
mile.
you're
Wait
lucky
11
you can't.
minutes.
All right. Well, you can on your map, Nathan. You can mark down Vesh's house. You don't we don't actually have a physical map. You can just
Okay.
You can write down places that are of note to you, and that way you can say, I want to travel back to these.
Yeah.
That'll mean something.
For fast travel purposes.
Yeah, Vesh's house. So, Vesh the Fiersmith.
Perfect.
Okay. So you guys continue to head, and it isn't. You don't walk another maybe 40, 50 yards past his hut, and suddenly the night sky switches back. It's as if you
Okay.
walk through a veil, and the forest behind you looks perfectly normal. It looks.
That
you're
was
outside.
not pleasant.
Yeah, you're
Alright,
outside.
I
forward.
thought it was interesting.
It was interesting, sure, but it wasn't pleasant.
I mean, there was that good smell. The sky was an interesting color.
It was a good color.
This guy wasn't interesting.
I think we should move on.
Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go.
How did I even get here?
I'm helping you look for cool rocks.
Faster without rocks.
As I'm like, we should keep going. Here's another one. And really?
Ooh, there's a
highlighting
little
the
bit.
word.
And
Reluctant
you
and
guys
just
can
because
travel. You
reluctant
travel
caretaker.
another couple of miles, and then you come across the path. The main road that leads up, down, like one giant vein all the way up to camp.
And what time of day is it?
It's super late at night, so
Oh.
you guys you've traveled enough in the last 2 days to get you to a very small. There's a very small hamlet, like a straight up hamlet. It's like there is maybe a tavern. They might maybe have a spare room.
Yeah.
But
we
you
can all
guys
sleep in.
Yeah.
Let's go check out the hamlet.
And this place is called Dalewind.
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 You have
Is
to
that
say
how
it
it's
that way.
pronounced locally?
Dial-wind.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Dalewind.
Hail and well met. Welcome to Dale.
And there
Interesting
is
accents.
It's very bizarre.
an inn called the Slotted Goblin.
What did
It sounds awkwardly sexual.
Yeah, there's the picture has a goblin with a sword just plunged right through it, and it says like hot eats and good clean rooms, and it's got X's on its eyes and they also have
tables.
generous okay, so you guys
complimentary wine.
you guys get there and how much gold you guys got on you?
Do we have any?
No.
I ain't got no gold.
Did Xanathos give us any money for traveling?
I got cool
No.
rocks.
Well, you have 20 gold pieces to last the journey, and
You
it's
do
up to
have
you to
cool rocks.
decide whether this is the appropriate use of the gold.
Cool,
They say they can give you.
had
They
10
have
written
a stable
gold
with
places.
a sleeping area that's attached to it, an open air sleeping area. It's just another part of the stable. But for 1 gold piece, you guys can all stay the night.
1 gold.
I
just
could predict the weather to let you guys know if it's gonna.
Yeah, how does it feel?
But
It's foggy. With a chance of fog.
okay, cool. I don't think that's not so
We
bad.
have tents.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
just
Do we
not
have
sleep
tents?
in this stupid tent.
1
yeah,
gold
I mean, we
piece.
packed for this. We knew we were
The
traveling.
woman who's there. This place is empty. It's just you guys. She and maybe one other person that's staying there.
Sad life.
No, she's taking the fact that you guys came in at 2 o'clock in the morning
Sure.
and betting that it's either this or sleeping outside, and she can get you to drop that sweet gold.
I'm thinking
It's not-
sleeping outside's no big.
She's like I'll feed
not
you.
gonna rain.
I'll feed you and I'll take care of your animals. She says it's fair.
Wouldn't you like to help out a local lord and a magus?
Ow.
She said I don't go into all that politicking.
We should just pay.
Negotiate. You're really charismatic. Negotiate a lower price.
Is there anything we
You wanna
can
borrow
do to make that price a little lower?
You want to show her?
She says, "Well, I do. I have
One gold.
have had an issue of rats in my larder down in our basement. If you could take care of the rats for me."
Oh,
that'd
we
be
can
fine.
take care of the rats.
I'll take care of those rats.
Awesome. She says, "Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll tell you what. If you could take care of the rats first, you can stay on the house."
Gratis. That's
Wait.
the word I like.
Do you mean we can stay for free or literally on the
No,
house?
she says, "I'll put you in one of the rooms. If you can take care of those rats."
We're taking care of those rats. And we're eating
Take care of
dinner
those
tonight.
rats.
Rat
Right.
dinner.
Come on,
Right.
let's take care of those
So she
rats.
leads you around
Bring me to the rats.
She leads you around
What's
to the
a
back of.
I just said, what's a rat?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh.
You'll know soon enough.
She opens up the cellar door, and
That's the most beautiful word.
cellar door.
Rat.
It's also whose trigger word is that? In what movie?
Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko. Yeah, it's not his trigger word, but okay.
I've never seen.
Philippa? Rats.
Filibuster.
Yeah, I would like to speak with animals.
Okay, so you guys open the doors and you go descend into it's a 15 foot. This is a very deep space. It's an old wine cellar.
I'm gonna put up dancing lights. for everybody.
And as you do, you kind of see that it opens up into these like little windy little
Oh my gosh, I hope
catacombs.
these are real rats and not like.
And you cast speak. You cast speak with animals. You
Yes.
say, and you say, what do you say in rat?
I say, hey guys, eviction notice. There's really cool foods in another place. I will give you that location front and center, fellas.
And you hear
Squeak, squeak,
you
squeak,
hear a
squeak,
voice.
squeaks.
You hear a squeak in the back. Squeak, 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 squeak. You hear like 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, 4 set, 5, 6.
Oh God.
There are 6 distinct squeak, 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 squeak. You hear.
But I can't
you hear,
understand them.
No, that's just what you hear. But you hear food, food, food,
Most
food,
definitely.
food, human, human.
Nope,
Food,
nope.
food. Eat. And they all start kind of like squeaking and squawking. One of them sticks its head out, and you have your lights going right. It's a giant rat. It's humongous.
R-U-S.
And in its mouth is a cat that it has been eating. So like these are big, bloodthirsty, like rabid.
Fantastic.
There's a reason that she was so happy to have some people stumble along and say, "We'll take care of the rats."
Take the gold. We're leaving.
All
all right, let's fight some.
Which is an option still. You can always close the thing and just go pay the gold if you don't want to fight the rats.
No, let's fight some rats.
Let's
Let's
make
fight
friends
some
with
rats.
rats.
All right.
Philippa, you look like you're doing well. They're out in the open.
Yeah, right. If we
These rats seem to be doing good things.
They're very dumb creatures. Like I don't think there's negotiating with. them.
They're already hostile, so that's
Yeah,
that's the
it's
main
time to
thing. Is
fight.
you'd have to do like a spell that would charm them to get them into a neutral space so that you could actually like communicate with them because they're so rabid that they're instantly hostile towards anything that comes in their space that isn't a giant rat.
How many?
There's 6.
Can I scream and cast a spell, or are we gonna roll initiative?
Sure.
Okay.
That works for me.
I was gonna earth tremor in front of us. Just like scream so loud that there was
Okay.
a little earth tremor, so it was some difficult terrain between us and them. Because I've never seen rats before, and those are
They're
weird,
terrifying.
scary things.
Yeah.
And it's eating a cat.
You don't like it.
Never seen a cat before. Either,
It
to be
is a
fair.
10-foot radius. There are 2 rats in the hallway that you can see, like right at the end of the steps that you guys are at, that you can get in this earth tremor if you want to. What's your spell save?
13.
No.
They fail.
Okay.
He just-
D6. Right?
But you can talk to them.
Yeah,
So
D6, and they're not
That's a
prone, so they both fall prone. And the area underneath them kind of becomes like
Does that mean that I
uphurled and becomes difficult terrain. So there's like a
Speak
ditch
to
now in the
So
cellar.
if we get towards the end of
And
this,
roll me
I
a D100.
They take 1 damage.
Okay, cool.
How do you want to?
59.
Like, is this an already?
When you do that, you feel the building around you and you like rocks fall from the ceiling, and it's like the first time you're like, oh, I could kill myself by doing this spell in the wrong place.
And then we'd have no place to sleep.
But everything's fine. Nothing happens. Cool. All right. Who do you want to throw it to next?
Sorry. I would be like, Yahoo! What do we do now?
I'm gonna draw my sword and I'm gonna.
Do you just not correct me? Side note. Ever?
No.
Okay.
He's just he gets it.
Cool.
I should question it myself.
I'm gonna stay on this side of the ditch,
No,
and I'm
it's the
gonna
opposite.
reserve my action if a rat comes within. I'm gonna stay right by her. If a rat comes within to attack, can I do either one of us? I can make my attack.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, then yeah,
Cool.
that's what I'll do.
Who do you want to throw it to next?
I'm gonna look and I'm gonna shout Weston, and then you both look at each other, and then I'm like,
After you.
Kendall.
Oh, after me.
Maybe.
And then I'll step in front of Wendell, and I will brandish my sword and move
Hey, my
forward
sword!
and just stab one of these prone rats. Because why
All
not?
right. Yeah, so you just step over the ditch.
Yep.
Get your advantage on that roll.
So over 20 to hit.
Yes, you definitely hit the
And-
rat. The big fat rat.
And 8
All right.
stabity damages.
He's dead.
And I just
Stabity.
put the sword right in,
Yeah.
step on him heroically. It's like,
Yeah. Dead rat.
all
A
right.
hero.
Way to stab.
Really
Stabbing a toe.
All right, who do you throw it
prone
to
rat.
next?
What a hero.
That's awesome.
And I will just kind of bow and motion
Yeah.
Wendell forward because I'm.
I hate rats! And I'm gonna rage.
Rage.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you haven't seen this before.
No.
Yeah.
Do I know you?
And I I take out my battle axe.
Oh, God.
With 2 hands, and I'm gonna jump over the ditch.
It's a little ditch.
Yeah, and swing at the one that's already prone,
Okay.
like a golf
We
club.
know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a physical change when you rage, or is it like just you're just more quick and more?
Yeah, I rip off my sleeves and then have to spend time sewing them back on.
Later.
But
That guy must be raging.
Does his arms look a little bigger? No, they look about the same.
He's flying into a
So
rage.
He's ripping his shirts
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
He's definitely
Constantly
raging.
looking for
But
like
I'm
a
not
mending
aware of
room.
it. I don't
No, it's
think about it. I
it's
just
just
like,
a nervous tick. Yeah.
You just have to-
Okay,
Backpack
so
full
I've
of
never.
You get advantage because it's prone, so you don't need a reckless attack.
Oh, okay, sweet. And sorry, I haven't ever used a battle axe before. I've never played D&D before. We just add our strength and proficiency, right?
Don't be an
18.
asshole.
18.
That hits.
God, our manager's such a fucking jerk.
People don't quit jobs; they quit bosses.
Exactly. 100%. I've never believed that more.
And then for damage, remind me, is it just the D8
It's just-
or the D10?
It's the D10 plus your strength modifier, and since you're raging, you get rage damage as well. It's on the
Oh,
table.
that's right, +2.
Uh-huh.
Sweet, so it's +4. Ha 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 ha.
Oh.
Is that your rage?
That's my 14 damage,
It's
max,
the most
maximum
flamboyant
damage.
laughter.
You smush
Joy.
the rat so hard.
Oh.
It's not even. It's kind of grotesque how much damage you do to that giant rat.
That is not necessary.
He's still raging.
No!
All right, who do you want to throw to next?
Philippa!
Thanks.
Don't you hate rats too?
I totally hate rats. I'm gonna get my shillelagh log going.
Yes.
I'm gonna smack one.
That's my
Attack
favorite.
it.
Smack it real
Roll a
good.
d20 and add your spell attack bonus.
Roll that.
It's already written.
D20.
Shillelagh. It's +3. Just roll the d20. Nat
23.
Nat 20? Nice.
Hell
Oh,
yeah,
those
girl.
are good die.
Play, crit.
Two
That's a
those.
good
Roll
die.
that too. Add 3.
Crit. It is a critical
Second killer.
crit.
8, 9, 10, 11.
Just smush.
Guts everywhere.
Guts everywhere. Yeah.
Guts.
Yeah, I know, I was
everywhere.
Were you even here when we agreed
Do you
to go
feel
kill
like
these
I
rats?
don't-
No.
Do you feel bad about
Bubbles.
killing
No, I'm just here
animals?
for it.
These rats are like, they are foaming at the mouth.
They're
They have like red eyes. These are like rabid, horrible creatures.
they're not
They're not.
Natural.
Yeah.
Gross.
They couldn't have been lured out with
Not
or
even
like
a mother.
relocated.
Yeah.
As a matter of
No
fact,
mother.
now that they're half the rats that were the closest have been smushed and are dead, I'm gonna roll a save for the other rats to see if they don't just start trying to eat the dead rats.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were gonna become into a rat cave.
They
I
still
will tell
taste
together.
No, they're still
really
interested in
become
you guys.
far less effective.
Their self-preservation is still working.
Sure. Good.
All right. Has anyone else in this not gone in the group yet? Have you gone? You want to shoot your?
You want to come finger gun him?
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew. What are we doing? I say as I.
What's up? Roll your d4. You don't roll an
Oh,
attack.
sorry. This is a magic missile, and it automatically hits 4 damage.
Nice. Take off one of the rat's legs.
Hit 'em with your pop
Precise.
All right. And that's
Alright,
everybody,
little
right?
leg.
Oh,
Yep.
cool. Have you gone?
Yeah, I did the
Okay,
earth tremor.
Okay, cool. The remaining rats will run up, and let's see, who would be the closest to them? It would have been you for sure, and then you,
Yeah.
and then you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So each one of you are going to get attacked by a rat.
Is it not difficult terrain in front of them?
Not to because they're all within
I've
5
jumped
feet.
over.
Yeah, they're all right in front of them. They don't have to move at all.
Like
Can I
Gil and
try
I-
shouting? Run away! Run away! So scared.
They're
Like
all
yeah,
within
like
5
being
feet of
a
each
rat.
other though, so they're all gonna get their pack tactics.
Pack tactics.
Good magic cards.
And bite at Wendell is a hit.
And resistance, does that mean half?
Half whatever damage you take.
Half sweater damage.
Half
So
sweater
like a
damage.
burger.
Well, I have a half sweater on right now
Nice.
because I ripped off the sleeves.
6 damage, so you'll take 3.
You must be raging.
All
3
right.
damage.
Kendall, what's your AC?
17.
You get hit.
Woo!
Clean.
You take 3 damage.
Woo!
Clean.
And Philippa,
Twinsies.
what's your
14.
AC? 14?
Literally.
Oh, man. Whack, whack, whack.
Uh-oh.
Nat 20.
No critical hit.
This little
Flip it
rat's gonna... Ooh, 8 damage.
No.
Gets you
Rat's
right in
Very
the throat.
photogenic dog.
That's a big old
I've been
bite.
taking pictures of it.
Crunch.
Maybe you aren't gonna share.
And that's their turn.
Yeah, that's a pretty good turn.
Why don't you go ahead and retaliate over there since you just got bit at?
I guess I'll shillelagh it again.
Go for it.
How long does Shillelagh last?
Yeah, I don't
So
have
you
it
just
written
like, you just create a club.
Yeah, you turn it up. You
It's a
turn it.
cantrip.
Yeah, and it makes it your proficiency with it's like linked to your
Cute.
spellcasting modifier. It's a
No,
very
I'm
cool
using a-
spell.
Roll it again.
I'm rolling it again. That's the big one.
Roll it again.
It's like you can
Yeah,
play a
that's better.
druid and be as martial as you want to,
21, right?
Sure.
which is cool. Would you?
21.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Yes.
Do that max damage roll.
Do that beautiful bean footage.
Just one.
Oh, but I thought it was 2d8
You
one.
you critical last time.
My bad.
You're fine. It's just 1d8 this time.
See the difference between the two of you?
Six.
You haven't played
9.
before.
Right? Because of plus 3?
Yes.
What is
9.
it? 9? Dead.
Nice. Shillelagh.
Smash it
Yeah,
again.
smashing rats. That's what it bit you pretty hard. You want to pass to next?
For our group.
Smashing rats.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll stab
I
a
think
rat.
isn't that one of Andy Dwyer's band names from?
Mouse
What's
rat.
Oh yeah.
Smells.
14 to hit.
14 hits.
Okay.
Didn't they go through like 15 names?
So.
Mouse rat was
11 damages.
It's dead.
And I'm just going to action
Sweet.
surge and end this.
Do it.
Oh yeah, second level
Uh,
power.
16 And 8 damage.
Nice. Yeah,
Okay.
that's dead. That's a dead rat. Very
To
good.
bed!
Huzzah!
And I killed the rat.
Are they all dead?
Yeah, they're all dead.
Well,
Yeah.
thank goodness for that. I would like to take
Is it
a
dark
very
down
long
here?
rest.
It is very dark down here, except Opal has put some.
Great. Is there
some
anything
lights.
else out here? We gotta get rid of these bodies.
That's
Can I
not what we would call
Cast
that
healing word on
particular-
myself.
Do what?
Healing word.
You can, although you're about to sleep, so you don't really need to.
Don't
If you
I
want to,
thought I
you can.
have to use it.
Your healing word can
Long
be good
rest,
night.
You get your full hit points back.
Ah, okay.
Good
Cool.
night.
You can, if you want to. For story, you can be like, I'm casting.
I'm still pissed at these rats, and I'm gonna start dragging them up. This is it a ladder?
No, it's like it's
It's
stairs.
steps.
Yeah,
Okay,
steps,
good,
yeah.
because that would really.
Yeah, no, you just.
I'm gonna start like just 2.
And she sends out one of her
That's a beautiful
farmhand stable boy guys that they're just gonna throw them in a pit and light them on fire and burn them up.
Great.
Nice.
And after a minute, I'm
I
like,
help with
all right,
that. I
that's,
spark the
that's
fire."
fine. I gotta go to
Yeah.
bed. I'm
I'm
tired.
so tired.
And I go to pick up my sleeves, and I go to
Go start
And
sewing
grab
back
my
on.
sewing
Um,
kit.
How long does that take?
I'm sorry.
Are they the same sleeves every time,
Oh,
or do you
I have
eventually
to-
have to get new sleeves to put on?
Well, sometimes I have to rage
You
to,
don't
just to sew them back on. And then I rip
So
them up into
fast.
smaller.
Yeah, so you guys
You do
you
it
guys
really
rest,
quickly.
and when you wake up to the sound of a rooster crowing. The mist from the previous day is cleared. It's still very cool outside. The strange thing in this little town, though, is it's so small. There isn't a lot of like movement. There are a few people working outside, but it's kind of a one-horse town, so there's not too much going on. As you guys go downstairs, she put you up in a room upstairs. As as you guys go downstairs, you notice that there is another group of people eating food at one of the only 2 tables in this space, and then the other table has been set up for you guys.
Great.
Yeah, so you guys kind of eat and can do any kind of like role play you want to do.
Sorry for showing up so late last night. We were in dire straits.
To the lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she says everything's fine. She says you took care of that rat problem. For
No
me, so-
rats.
No rats.
Does the other table look like peasants or?
Roll an insight.
Everyone looks like a peasant to you.
Kendall. 18,
How
17, 18, 17.
You know, like, why would you look
17.
around a room and be like,
It's
who's
3
lesser
people.
than me?
They are all covered in traveling cloaks. Their faces are heavily obscured in such a way that reads fishy to you.
They're like trying to not draw attention to themselves.
They're not. It's too small of a space. It's almost like if they don't care if you know. They're all kind of sitting there. Once you look up, you make eye contact with them, and they're just kind of like staring at you, like nursing whatever they have in front of them. None of them is really engaged.
Pull my chair over to the table.
As soon as you stand up,
Nursing
and they
a
make eye
bowl of
contact with you,
you.
one of them stands up as well.
Hi. What are you doing in Dalewind?
He sticks out his hand and then points over. Are you wearing your amulet or not? Amulet on?
I thought you said to wear it around these people.
Yeah. The person points but doesn't speak, and then pulls back his cloak to show you his dagger. To him, you look like a 17-year-old boy with a big sword. You know what I mean? For perspective, you guys don't actually, other than maybe the orc, but you're blind.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't actually look that fearsome. You look like a bunch of lost kids. So he's 6 feet, 6'3". He's just kind of
Okay.
Hi, I'm Opal.
I would like to make a little fire appear in front of him, show off a little magicness, and be like, answers questions.
He looks over and he nods, and the person next to him, she pulls out a hand crossbow and aims it up and fires it, and you guys all for a second who's she hit, and you all look, and she shot the barkeep lady, just and she's dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Combat.
This
I'm
turns
gonna, I
like
kick my chair out from
Yeah.
under me and I pull my sword.
Wait,
out.
I'm
It's
gonna chop
fucking
up-
fuck you guys.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna hide under a
We're
table.
gonna roll initiative. We're gonna do
Oh, initiative.
And
Do
ready
this
and
the
action.
old-fashioned way. Woo! I will be going
Yay, I
first.
love fighting assassins, or, well, I guess not assassins. Wherever they are.
Everyone roll me a quick insight, including you, Whitney.
Including
20. No.
It's just Dex plus whatever.
21.
Okay, I'm gonna give it
Insight.
to, I'm gonna give it to Winnie. I mean, you might all recognize it too.
Insight?
Yeah, insight. But you guys see, she says, Templar. She basically is like, she's familiar. She's like, she recognizes the markings that they're wearing, like underneath their vestments. She explains very quickly to those not
It's
in
the
know.
Templar. Like, as we're taking
Yeah, as you're all
place,
like,
I'm like yelling. I'm
she's
like,
like,
here's what you need to know.
she
Review
basically
actions.
describes them as a cult of self-important, like archaeologists. Like they believe themselves to be like the guardians of like history and magic and like
Goddamn academics.
and and they are essentially like a group of people who use their resources to hunt down strange magics and like stop the use of them. They consider themselves keepers of like the pact of like they think they're helping, but they're like a fringe group. So
French?
fringe,
Like an alt group.
yeah, they're like alt arcana.
Oof.
We'll make the tongue the bad guys.
It's very hard to like, imagine these guys as threatening.
I
In
know,
the
that's
description.
cool.
It's like, oh, it's a bunch of archaeologists. Oh no.
Evil Indiana Jones.
They're assassins. They just deal in antiquities. That's-
They're all wearing their round glasses, talking in their German accents.
All right.
Weed everywhere.
I'm just gonna use the paddles for the other nights for people who don't have your colors yet, so we'll just use them. And we're gonna keep these in mind. There's 3 of them. There's the one that's about 6 feet tall. There is his friend with the crossbow, the lady, and then the last one is very short. It's a short little dwarf person. There you go. They're all easy to see. Human male, human woman, and a little dwarf person. Maybe male or female. Who knows? They're all covered up and you can't tell.
And they all have beards.
They all have beards.
All 3 of the archaeologists.
Okay,
No,
cool.
just-
They're all wearing fake
Just all
beards.
dwarves. Any
this-
time I try to help you with what you're doing, it's like a bad idea. I need to just stop you
Pretty much.
anytime you do something.
That seems like a boring
You live and you learn, you know.
Adventure, Philippa!
Oh. Don't do that.
Okay, cool.
They just killed the barkeep. And that was rude.
Oh, that's rude.
That was rude.
They mean business.
That's. You could have just said we mean business. You didn't have to kill
I
somebody.
wouldn't have believed.
I-
Wouldn't have believed it.
All right. What'd you get in initiative, Bryce?
19.
19. What did you get on yours, Nicole?
11.
What did you get on yours, Winnie?
14.
What did you get on yours? Allison, you want to be orange?
Sure.
What did you get on yours?
9.
What did you get on?
Shevin.
And we'll make you blue.
7.
Shevin.
And Andy will make you all green.
20.
What did you roll?
19.
That's not a good place for them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you grab your axe and you rage and you get to go first. So
Yeah, I'm gonna swing at her arm.
at the woman who shot the.
Mhm. I'm gonna do
They're
a.
all dressed in like dark maroon and scarlet robes, like underneath their leather traveling adventure. They have kind of like a matching. It's almost like Catholic priesty looking their vibe.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna reckless attack them.
Cool.
Or her. Which is what?
You just get advantage, and then you'll suffer disadvantage, or you get advantage on attacks made against you until the start of the next round.
Yep.
You're just kind of leaving yourself open for.
And I get 16.
Are you raging right now?
I am raging.
Okay, cool. 16. I believe that is fine. Yeah, that hits.
Sweet.
Turn into a horse.
So, what? Great, and then this is two-handed. And I will deal only 6 damage.
Okay.
Alas.
Yeah, and you hit her right in the chest. Ah! She screams. Ow!
Reckless attack.
That hurts. All right. Anything else you done?
I can't do anything else,
Cool.
right? I'm right
Yep.
next to her.
All right. Yaka.
I'm gonna try and run up beside him, and I'm gonna try and double tap her and take her, kill her.
Yeah.
Try and kill her.
Don't slip on my sleeves.
I won't.
Nice legs.
That is 18 to hit.
And you're attacking with what weapon?
My longsword.
Longsword.
And I'm using 2 hands.
That hits.
2 hands for life.
Yeah, you said it was, and it's silvered, so it kind of hums whenever it's like, it's like,
Yeah, silvered sword.
yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
6 damage.
You only got her a little.
She is dead.
Yes.
Sweet.
I cut her head off.
Nice, yeah. Head off.
She's good.
Not suffering from those head pains anymore.
Yes.
Head off. All right. Good one. Minnie, what do you do?
I would imagine that when this happened, I kind of just like ducked under a table as he decided to like pursue combat.
Sure. Yeah.
But what's around me right now? Like if I had kind of like taken cover under a table and looked around, like
Anything you might see in a tavern, some plates.
but I mean like the creatures. Like can I see them? Are they near me?
They were all sitting at the table right next to you guys,
Oh,
like
okay.
waiting for you to come downstairs.
So they're right next to me at the table.
Yeah,
right
he
now?
just he
Okay.
stood up and then he shot. Like you guys were literally standing at the table
Yeah.
as you were kind of getting yourselves ready. So if you duck down behind like one of the other tables,
Can I shoot magic missile with like half cover?
yeah, you don't even have to be looking at the thing.
Okay.
You duck down behind a table. and
4 damage.
nice. Who'd you hit? The big guy or the
Yeah.
dwarf? All right, so 4 damage.
Big guy.
All right, cool.
And I duck back under the table.
Awesome. Okay, Opal, what do you do?
That's awesome.
Uh,
It's silvered.
I'm going to leap over the table
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
and jump on a random opponent.
Whoever's there.
Theater of the mind.
Jump on this rando.
Do you want to jump on the big guy or the dwarf?
I'll do the big guy.
Okay, you jump on the big guy. Do you still look like a little kid? You still in your
Yeah.
yeah. Just jumping.
Yeah.
These horrible lizard noises.
And I'm going to do a claw attack.
Nice.
So cool.
So he probably can't even see my claws, I imagine, right? 'Cause I
No,
look
like your tail is still there, so
He
like
can feel it, but he
yeah,
can't
it's like
see
knocking
it.
over cups and stuff, but
Cool.
it's invisible.
it's a 16 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that damage.
Oh.
5 claw damage. But then I want to amplify my attack.
Okay.
And
So it's a psionic ability. So she's going to strike him, and then she's going to shock him with psychic energy.
yeah, because it's supposed to work with melee, claw, or bite attacks, right? Okay, yeah. So they have to make an intelligence save.
What's your spell save?
13.
Yeah, he fails.
Okay. So
And it's 3d8.
yes.
What? Wow.
3d8 psychic damage.
I think archaeologists would be smarter.
Oh my god.
7.
7 damage.
Yeah.
The big guy. Nice. With the other 5, so what? 13 altogether.
12.
12 altogether. Awesome. Good move. Have a hero point. That's awesome. All right. Who has a orange? Is that you, Allison?
That's Allison.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are you doing?
Oh, let me finish reading this real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Nope, I'm sorry, your time is up.
The main one who was talking to us, is that who she just hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Then who's
No.
left?
There is a dwarf that was next to him that has little brass knuckles.
Oh, he's a dwarf. Oh. No.
You hate dwarves.
No.
Oh, you hate dwarves, of course.
I forgot. I hate them.
Now I remember.
I will entangle. I will make the terrain.
Nice. The
difficult.
floorboards pop and creak as vines and all this brush just pushes up out of nowhere and constricts the dwarf. He has to make a dex save, right?
Strength.
Strength. What's your spell save?
13.
He's just a little dude. He gets no bonuses. Yeah, he's all tangled up.
Just a little dude.
Hey!
No bonus.
Just a little guy.
I'm just a little dude. I don't get no bonuses. Hi, what are you doing?
I didn't even know I could do
You do. Christmas spell.
There you go. Awesome. Hero point. And he's all so he can't move, right? He has to make a save on his turn, or he can attempt it's like an action on his turn.
Use its actions
Yeah.
to strength check against it.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. So he's all. Oh, let me go! Hey, this ain't cool.
I don't like it.
I'm just an archaeologist, man.
Just a teenage dirtbag baby.
All right, Nathan. For you, what do you do?
I'm gonna lazily pull my sword out of its scabbard,
Nice.
flip my hair back slightly, and kind of just smile at him
God.
as I hold the sword at his throat. We didn't have to do it this way. Can you drop those knuckles?
The guy, the dwarf.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. Well, roll a intimidation or persuasion. I can see that being either.
18.
Yeah, he just lets loose his hands, and the knuckles they fall to the ground. He's fine. He doesn't want to.
Okay.
He doesn't want to get deaded.
And then, Philippa, will you see if you can do something about the barkeep?
The big guy's still kicking though.
Oh, is he alive?
Yeah, he's alive.
Oh.
Yeah, he's still kicking. You want
I
to
missed
you want to redo your action then? Yeah. The dwarf is tangled up, but the big guy's still
I mean, it would have been at him then instead.
Oh, okay.
of the
Okay.
dwarf.
Well then, I won't re-roll the check. I'm
I
just going to use his stats instead.
Dwarf still got his knuckles on.
Let that move be stricken from the record.
He
Let the record
is.
show.
He takes his sword and he kind of drops it on the ground and is like, "You got us," and then snaps his fingers and then through the window, there's gonna be 2 more of these ninja bandits that hop in through the window.
Okay.
Sweet.
So it did not work, and he is starting to reach for something in his cloak. So I'll let you go
Can
ahead
I
and
finish stabbing him when he
you can make an
snaps?
attack. Yeah, for sure.
12.
You can have advantage because he's because you were kind of doing that thing.
15.
That hits him.
Okay. And 9 slashing damage as I undo some of the buckles on his armor.
Nice. Roll a d4 for me. On a even, something cool will happen.
It's a 3.
Okay. He pulls a vial out from his hand. You almost knock it out of his hand, but he's able to get it in safely.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. All right. It's his turn. He's so happy. He's so happy. Let's see. So you're right in front of him.
Absolutely.
He takes this vial and he's literally just gonna smash you in the face with it.
Okay.
And when he does, he casts darkness. And Opal, make me a strength save, please. Or a strength check, not a save.
So sorry. You said it was a check?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Strength. Right?
Save, check.
It's a check.
One more try.
Nat 20. Just needed to hit that
That.
spot.
Nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
You feel somebody trying to grab you in the darkness. You can't see anything, though. It's the magical darkness that fills the room. Some sort of like alchemical smoke. And you feel somebody try to grab you and you're able to get away. What do you do?
Scream and run.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Something touch me! Something touch me!
What's your AC?
16.
You after you scream, you feel a sting of a very small dart
Oh.
hit you in the neck. Make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Uh-oh.
16?
You go unconscious.
Oh no.
Whose
Face
turn is
plant.
it now?
That's me.
That's you. All right. It's dark in the room. You're raging.
I'm still raging. So
You can't see, but you can hear. So I'll rule that you can try your best to hit something in this. It's a very small space. But you have to roll disadvantage,
I'm
obviously.
swinging. Okay, if I'm reckless attacking, does that just a normal
Just
attack?
makes it. I'm gonna roll you can't because of the fact that you can't. Well, I guess you're reckless. Yeah, sure. It just makes it like a normal attack. It's just
Going
just
crazy.
one d20.
Great.
So,
Sweet. 19.
cool. That hits. Roll me a d4. On a 1, you on an even you hit the bad guy. On an odd, you hit Opal.
How exciting. What was it?
On an even, you hit the bad guy.
Even.
Okay, cool.
I got a 2.
Go ahead and do
I'm
damage.
out. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's very true. I'd feel bad, though. I guess I wouldn't
We'd
know
tell you.
either.
Be pretty bad if you killed me.
We wouldn't know.
I get a 6.
Cool. Yeah, and you feel your axe rip flesh and tendon and pull. It's a really gross. You feel the spray of blood, and after the dust clears, and at the beginning of the next turn, the smoke starts to leave the room, and the bad guys are gone. Oh no! And so is Opal.
I can see where everybody is, can't I?
You could, but she's gone. Will our heroes be able to find Opal?
Oh no!
Ah!
Oh
We all
no!
fall to the floor.
Yeah, broke
We all
that orange
disappear.
one again.
Oh no! Yeah.
No, it's
I'm still here.
blah blah blah. Join us next time. Yeah, so we're gonna end right there.
We'll be
The
sorry.
Opal, you're unconscious. You've been
And gone.
You've
Oh my
been
God.
black bagged, and the Templar have stolen our dragonborn friend. We'll start next session with you guys chasing and saving and all that.
Chasing.
Will they be able to
And
save
saving.
her?
And wishing.
And hoping. And
I'll get a new character ready.
And kill him.
yeah, that's it. So thanks for tuning in. We'll come back. We'll be back next Tuesday. Check out. I think we are doing a stream Thursday, probably. Can you guys play Thursday?
I'll play Thursday.
I think we're.
I live here, so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll plan on that.
Oh yeah, Pantame comes back
Yeah,
on
Pantame.
Thursday.
Wow.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one, and as always, from our friends to yours.
Never
it.
forget when Santa comes.
That's
Huh.
weird.
That's true.
Is that the catchphrase?
That's the catchphrase. Never forget to suck it. All right.